start the season.
And he's got Fannin, touchdown, Bowling Green on the opening drive. Aller looking for the end zone, and it's picked off. It is picked off, a much-needed turnover. Jamal Johnson, touchdown, Bowling Green into the end zone. What a response by the offense. Aller now taken down, sack. Huge pickup for Bowling Green in the red zone, now cooking.
A hat trick for Terrion Stewart here on Thursday night.
Happy homecoming, Falcons. Welcome in Doyne L. Perry Stadium. Joining you from the roof, Reese Patricus, Carter Leonard. Happy to have you folks along here with us as we celebrate the 102nd homecoming in the history of Bowling Green State University. It's been quite the week. They've had lots of festivities. Nice big picnic in the yard on Wednesday. They had a concert today. Phil Vassar in town, and a lot of really well-respected, highly esteemed alumni, especially in the media side. The great Dick Maxwell, in town. Saw Mizell Stewart in the Falcon media tent, as well as Jason Jackson, who covers the Miami Heat down in Miami. Again, happy to have you folks along here with us. Bowling Green taking on Old Dominion here today. Just a little under half an hour till kick. And Carter, great day for football. A little bit windy, though, catching that tailwind from the hurricane.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the weather is definitely going to play in the big factor, especially the wind. Obviously, with the tropical storms down there, we send our best wishes and condolences to anybody who's been affected down there. It's been rough. It's been rough this past week, but the wind is definitely going to play a big factor in today. I'm very interested to see how it affects, both sides of the ball for both Old Dominion and Bowling Green. I think that we're going to see a lot of the running game today. If the wind, it's starting to die down right now, but I'm curious on if the pass game will definitely be affected today.
If I were to guess, I would say that some of these balls might be flying a little bit erratically, but both of these teams love to pound the rock. Looking at their season stats so far this year, Old Dominion, more rushing yards than passing yards. They average 148 rushing yards a game. That ranks 81st in the country out of 134 FBS teams. Bowling Green, 171 rushing yards per game. That ranks 60th out of those 134 teams. So I imagine we're going to see a lot of the ground game tonight, and that's really what this Bowling Green squad does best.
Yeah, especially led by Terrion Stewart, who is currently the rushing leader for Bowling Green. So far, Terrion has had a really good start to the season. 27 carries, 203 rushing yards, averaging 7.5 yards per carry, and so far 3 touchdowns. The Memphis, Tennessee native, who is a junior here at Bowling Green, has definitely had a tremendous start to the year, and I can't wait to see him play tonight.
They really missed him at the end of last year. Also 2 years ago, missed the season 2 years ago, then got injured last year against Ball State after putting together a really nice start to his season. Had a great week 1 against Fordham. He had 161 yards and 3 touchdowns. Last week against Texas A&M, game plan kind of got away from him a little bit. He only picked up 42 yards on the ground, no touchdowns. But I think in a game like tonight, they're going to have to rely on that a lot, especially looking at Old Dominion's running defense. One of the worst rush defenses in the country, averaging over 200 yards per carry. That ranks 123rd out of 134.
And when you hear a stat like that, and especially if you're on the Bowling Green side of things, that is something that you want to take advantage of. Like you said, Reese, Old Dominion's run defense, not really great right now to start out the season. So if you're Bowling Green and if you're the offensive coordinator, then you got to take advantage of that sort of situation. So ground game is definitely going to be the key today, as you've mentioned.
Now we'll go ahead and focus in on Old Dominion. They come into the Doyt at 0-3, but they're not necessarily an 0-3 team. You look at the schedule, you look at the teams they played. They opened the season at South Carolina, an SEC team. They played them really well, only lost 23-19. And then that next week, East Carolina at home lost 20-14. But week 3 is when things kind of got a little out of hand for this Monarchs squad, losing 37-17 against Virginia Tech in their home stadium. And then last week they were able to recoup from that loss. They had a bye week. They were able to get their mind off of that loss and look forward ahead to this Bowling Green team.
Yeah, and when it comes to bye weeks, it's like a reset, especially on the mental side of things. When you have that bye week present to you, and it's a great way to regroup and think, okay, the start of the season has not gone the way it's supposed to. How can we make things better after taking a week off? And we'll see tonight from the Monarchs if they found anything new from this bye week. Had a lot of time to sit down and really think things over, and we're going to see tonight against this Bowling Green squad on how they plan on moving forward.
And a big get back for Old Dominion last week, or I guess rather 2 weeks ago. The last game they played, they were without their usual starter, Grant Wilson. They had to rely on both arms of both Colton Joseph, who's a redshirt freshman, and Quinn Hennicle. They both combined for 6 of 14 passing for 50 yards, 1 touchdown, but one interception, but Quinn Hennicle, 13 carries, 98 yards, and a rushing touchdown, as well as a rushing touchdown for Tariq Sims. So they're able to, they didn't fall flat on their face in the absence of their star signal caller, but it'll be really nice to have him back.
Yeah, definitely. And in those situations, it's not always a great situation to see your starters go down. But in college football and just football period, you have to have that next man come up. And I think the Monarchs have done a really solid job, getting those next men up, those third string guys. When the starter goes out, those are going to be the guys that you really have to rely on. And I think, with having Grant Wilson back tonight, I think that's going to be great for the Monarchs. But, really good job from the second and third string guys stepping in when it mattered most.
Like we mentioned prior, that run game, kind of the focus of this Old Dominion offense, and it runs through Aaron Young, a transfer from Rutgers, came in this offseason after spending 5 years with the Scarlet Knights. So far this season, 58 attempts, 206 yards, 3.6 yards per carry, just 1 touchdown. But you kind of expect maybe that little bit of a slow start, especially when you're moving into a new offense with new guys in front of you.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of time to adjust to a brand new environment, especially for Aaron, and for a lot of players too. When you've been in a system for so long, you transfer to a new one, things get a little shaky to start out. It doesn't really go well right away, but you have a lot of time throughout the season to really start getting adjusted, start getting into a rhythm, and we'll see from Aaron Young not only tonight but out the rest of the year on how he manages to adjust well.
Old Dominion, they're headed by Ricky Ronnie. He's in his 5th year as the head coach, just his 4th season though. He was hired prior to the 2020 season, 2020 Sun Belt Conference. Didn't have a season. We all know why. We don't need to get into it. Didn't have a season 2020, and he's gone 15 and 26 since, and even 500 in the Sun Belt Conference at 12 and 12. But prior to Old Dominion, Carter, why don't you go ahead and walk us through where he was at?
Yes, absolutely, Reese. So, as we mentioned his Old Dominion record, but he was actually he coached at Penn State from 2014 to 2019. He was the QB coach from 2014 to 2015, the tight end coach from 2015 to 2017, and he was I believe the offensive coordinator from 2017 to 2019. And of course, as you mentioned, Reese, 2020 with how everything went down, he got hired to Old Dominion, and he has been there ever since.
And just some of the names that Ronnie coached in his time at Penn State. When he was the QB coach from 2014 to 2015, the quarterback, a name that most of you have probably heard of, Christian Hackenberg. When he was the tight end coach from 2016 to 2017, again, another name that most of you have probably heard of in Mike Gesicki. And then he was the OC/QB coach doing double duty from 2017 to 2019. Coached the man who knows how to throw it on a dime like he ain't even trying, Trace McSorley. And in that offensive game, 204.9 yards on the ground when Ronnie was calling the offense.
Yeah, definitely. Ronnie he's definitely made for offensive coaching, so it'll be interesting to see tonight how Old Dominion's offensive scheme really plays out. So, Ricky Ronnie, I think he's done a really solid job with the coaching that he has had over the years, and we're going to see it on display tonight.
First time these two teams have matched up. The 3rd time in 4 games for Bowling Green that they're matching up against an opponent they have never played before. Week 1 against Fordham, that was the very first matchup. Week 3 last week against Texas A&M, that was the first time those two teams have matched up. And now here in Week 5 between Bowling Green and Old Dominion, the first time these two teams have matched up. Old Dominion, kind of a weird history. You take it all the way back to 1930. They had a program from 1930 to 1939. Disbanded, there was no football team at Old Dominion University until 2009 when they rejoined football. They redeveloped their football program. They were in the FCS, the football championship subdivision from 2009 to 2014. Then they jump up to FBS, independent for a couple years, and then they just joined the Sun Belt a couple years ago.
Yeah, definitely Old Dominion has had like you said, Reese, it's a very interesting history with this football team. Me personally, I didn't know up until this week that Old Dominion didn't have a football team for almost 70 years. So the history of this Monarch team is definitely very interesting, to say the least. And, first time that these two teams have matched up, and I'm very fortunate enough to say that I was here for the very first matchup between the Falcons and the Monarchs.
Now, the first time these two teams have matched up, as we've covered, but there's still a little bit of familiarity between these two teams, and it comes on the coaching staff of Old Dominion. Carter, why don't you walk us through that?
Yeah, definitely. One of the main standouts on the coaching staff for Old Dominion is Alex Utel, who is currently the Old Dominion offensive line coach, but he was once an offensive lineman at Bowling Green State University. He was a offensive lineman from 2011 to 2015, a two-time MAC champion, and he started a program record 55 consecutive games, and then he became the O-line coach in 2023. So he's been around the block a few times, so to speak. So Alex has definitely had some familiarity with this organization. So very interested to see how the offensive line does for Old Dominion tonight.
Yeah, like you said, he knows this Bowling Green team. I guess not this Bowling Green team specifically, but he knows Bowling Green inside and out. Like you mentioned, he was an offensive lineman here from 11 to 15. He was actually on the coaching staff at Bowling Green under Mike Jinks. He was a graduate assistant and the offensive line coach from 2016 to 2017. And as you mentioned, two-time MAC champion. That 2013 and 2015 teams under blanking on the name, I apologize, folks. That's kind of what happens once you get into the swing of things. Your mind just kind of forgets everything else that you want to think that is not necessarily on script. Two-time MAC champion, 2013, 2015. Three-time All-MAC selection, 2013, 2014, 2015. Phil Steele All-American in 2015. And in 2016, he was a member of the East-West Shrine Game. So a laundry list, if you will, of accomplishments for Alex Huddle in his time here at Bowling Green. We're going to go ahead and step away for a couple minutes while the band makes their way onto the field. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Bowling Green coming into this game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Standing up for what's right. Helping out when things go wrong. Seeking the truth and speaking our minds. Not just making records, but breaking them. Leading the way behind the camera, beyond the runway, and on the silver screen. Not just making our mark, but making a difference. Now that's a job for a Girl Scout. Girl Scouts, preparing girls for a lifetime of leadership.
I'm Fuad Reveiz, a home builder. Did you know there's a deadly, invisible radioactive gas that can seep into homes from underground? It's radon. Breathing radon can cause lung cancer. So protect your family. Talk to your builder. Tell them you want a healthier, safer, radon-resistant home.
Learn more. Visit the EPA at epa.gov/radon. That's epa.gov/radon. This public service announcement is brought to you by the EPA, who does not endorse this particular builder or any other commercial enterprise.
We depend on our drinking water supply daily, but where does that water come from? Your water provider encourages you to get to know your local water source so together we can protect and preserve it. The investments we make as a community to protect our water source now ensure we have a sustainable drinking water supply for the future. Visit drinktap.org to learn more. This message is brought to you by the American Water Works Association and your local water provider.
When severe weather causes telecom network outages, the FCC recommends that you call 911 only when necessary and limit non-emergency calls. Avoid repetitive redialing to minimize network congestion. Try texting if a call doesn't go through. Conserve cell phone power and turn off your phone when not in use. If evacuated, forward landline calls to your cell phone and use your outgoing message to update your status. For more info, go to fcc.gov/emergency.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Eating, working, living pain-free. These are a few of the things many of us take for granted. But for many adults with disabilities who are elderly or have serious medical issues, dental care is simply unaffordable. Dental Lifeline Network is looking for dentists who can change this. DLN is asking dentists and their teams to volunteer to just see one of the many patients in need. You can literally change a life. Visit willyouseeone.org to help change one life in your community today.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. At Children International, we know that the journey to end poverty for good begins first with a child. It starts with their first checkup, lesson, opportunity, job. That journey takes commitment from people like you and me to end poverty for good. Learn more at children.org.
The Zig Zone is the only radio show dedicated to all things BGSU athletics, and it hits the airwaves again this Sunday. Join a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network figures as they discuss the hottest BG sports topics on September 29th at 4 p.m. only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What, did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Welcome back, friends. Standing up here on the roof of Dwight L. Perry Stadium. I'm still Reese Patricus. He's still Carter Leonard. Now, Carter, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the home team. Bowling Green coming in. It's homecoming here for the alumni, but it's also homecoming for this Falcons team. They haven't had a home game since week 1, almost a month ago on August 29th. So this is kind of a great feeling for these guys. They're happy to be back home. They're happy to be back in front of a friendly crowd instead of the last 2 weeks where they've played in 2 of the biggest stadiums on the planet against 2 very big hostile crowds.
Yeah, week 2 against Penn State and then week 3 against Texas A&M, you know. Different territory for the Falcons, but I believe the Falcons have left those 2 games with a bunch of confidence, even if it wasn't 2 W's, which I'm sure that they would have loved to have. You know, keeping it close against those big-time opponents who are especially ranked in the top 25 of college football is definitely something that, you know, you take a lot of pride in if you're the Falcons. And, you know, like you said, Reese, being back home is something that I'm sure this BG team is going to really, really enjoy. And like you mentioned, it's homecoming week. No better feeling than that.
Yeah, the stadium stands slowly starting to fill up. They're not at full capacity yet, or at least the stand on the opposite side, that we're standing on top of, also a little bit slow to fill up, but there's still plenty of people walking around the concourse, getting their snacks, getting ready to watch what should be a great football team. Now, we'll talk about those last 2 weeks, or I guess 2 out of the last 3 weeks if you talk about that bye week that they had in between Penn State and Texas A&M. And you go in to Happy Valley, number 8 Penn State. You have a lead coming out of halftime. It falls apart a little bit in the second half. due to some great defensive adjustments made by James Franklin and that Penn State defense. But you walk out of there with a 7-point loss. You have a bye week. You're able to recoup. Then you go on the road down to Texas, College Station. And that's a game that, talking to some of the players, just in classes, I guess, not really talking to them, but just kind of like gauging the feel. They weren't happy. That was a game that they felt they should have won.
Yeah, definitely. The ending of that game was definitely something that was not in BG's favor, and coming out of it with a 26-20 loss is something that a lot of smaller teams, obviously, MAC teams, would say that they love to have. Obviously, you want to win every game that you step foot in, but obviously that game left a sour taste in Bowling Green's mouth, and we're gonna see how they do against Old Dominion. Try to get some of that momentum back and see if they can prevail.
All right, we're going to kick it away for just another moment for the playing of the national anthem. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Actress Allison Sweeney for American Humane.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring and humane world for all of us.
Matt always knew he wanted to be a doctor. That's why he makes the most of every day. To study before breakfast, to work hard, to do whatever was necessary to achieve his goal. He found an answer in the military. If you have a passion, a vision for your future in any field, todaysmilitary.com can be your path to a fulfilling career. You have a calling, we have an answer. Find your way at todaysmilitary.com.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain, and reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives like physical therapy to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist in your area.
Welcome back, folks, to Doyne L. Perry Stadium. Beautiful rendition, as always, by the FMB, the Falcon Marching Band, one of the largest marching bands in the country, over 400 students strong. Fantastic job, as always. Still, Reese Patrikas joined by Carter Leonard to my right, and when we left off, we were talking a little bit about Bowling Green, so we'll go ahead and jump back into that. And you have two games against ranked opponents, the number 8 team in the country in Penn State, and at the time the number 25 team in the country, now the number 24 team in the country. You walk away from both of those games in two of the most hostile environments, two of the largest stadiums on planet Earth, losing by a combined 13 points. That's got to feel pretty darn good, but also I know, especially in his Monday press conference, head coach Scott Loeffler is not a very big fan of moral victories, and he'll let you know that. And I understand that. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. But still, as a fan especially, maybe it's a little different because I'm not down. I wasn't in the locker room. I'm not on the sideline. I wasn't on the field. I was maybe a little disheartened for a little bit, but also then I took a step back and was like, we just lost to another ranked team by 6 points. I mean, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you talked about Scott Loeffler, not being a big fan of moral victories. And, in reality, who's really a big fan of moral victories? You either want to win or,
It's either a win or a loss. It's either a win or a loss.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly. That's
the occasion that you tie, then it's a tie. But, of course, no ties in college football.
Exactly. It's all about getting the job done. And we appreciate Scott Loeffler's, intensity, his mentality going into every single game. And, that's just, like you said, Reese, losing to both Penn State and Texas A&M by a combined 13 points, again, from a fan perspective, you got to think to yourself, okay, well, we went back-to-back in losses. Well, they went back-to-back in losses, but it wasn't that bad. It's not like they got completely beat down. So I would really suggest, as I mentioned before, I would really suggest Bowling Green's morale, and, I would assume they have a lot of pep in their step coming out of those 2 games and being back here in their home turf and ready to play Old Dominion. I'm sure those boys in that locker room who are about to come out right now are extremely, extremely fired up.
So we'll go ahead and talk about this team specifically now, of course, led by that 6th-year senior, transferred in prior to last season from the University of Indiana, Connor Bazelak. Had a little bit of a rough game last week. He was good until really the 4th quarter when he threw an untimely interception, 20 for 36 on the night, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That touchdown, that 65-yarder to big number 0, who we're going to be saying his name a heck of a lot today. That 65-yarder opened up the 3rd quarter last week against Texas A&M. Speaking of number 0, Harold Fannin Jr. Carter, he has become one of the most talked about players in college football because he really, his 2nd year starting, he is a true junior, no red shirt on him, came in as a freshman, got a little bit of playing time, but he had to sit behind Christian Sims and Levi Gazarek, and then last year takes over the starting role as one of the best receiving tight end seasons of all time in program history, 623 yards receiving, and now he's following it up. He's already halfway to 623, or over halfway to 623 yards, and it's only week 5. This team has only played 3 games.
Reese, what is not to love about Harold Fannin Jr.? I mean, this guy, every time Bowling Green steps on the field on the offensive side of the ball, that is always one of the few players that we always look out for. So far, Harold Fannin Jr. off to a phenomenal start this season, 25 receptions, 349 receiving yards, averaging 14 yards per receiving each play. 2 touchdowns to start out the year. Definitely a good-sized individual for a tight end, 6'4", 230 pounds. The Canton, Ohio native, who's also a junior. He's just one of the best players on this offensive team. And he was recently awarded Conference Offensive Player of the Week from the Mid-American Conference. Just Harold Fannin Jr., just always a phenomenal player every time that we see him step out on the field. Definitely going to be one to look out for today.
Like you mentioned, MAC Offensive Player of the Week last week for his efforts against Texas A&M. 8 receptions, 145 yards, a career high, shattering the career high he set 2 weeks ago against Penn, or I guess now 3 weeks ago at Penn State, 2 weeks prior to that game. Shattering that record, 145 yards, 1 touchdown, that 65-yard touchdown that he caught, the longest of his career. And I have to give a shout out. I have to. Canton, Ohio, that's where I'm from. I love Canton, Ohio. He's a Canton-McKinley grad. Our high schools played in the same conference. Shout out to the Federal League. Shout out to Harold Fannin Jr. I said it on the Zig Zone. I don't know if you tuned into the Zig Zone, but that's our weekly Sunday talk show dedicated only to BGSU athletics. I said Harold Fannin Jr. is the best tight end in the country. Harold Fannin is more than likely, barring something unbelievable happening, I think Harold Fannin is going to win the Mackey Award at the end of the season. And also, he's already on pace to break the career receiving yard record by a tight end here at Bowling Green. It's held by his position coach, Alex Bayer, who set it way back in 2013. It stood for 11 years, and now he's just about 300 yards away from breaking that record.
Yeah, you talk about Harold Fannin possibly being the best tight end in the country, as you mentioned on the Zig Show. And, that really goes to show that even with these smaller conferences in college football, aside from the Big Ten, the SEC, all those big conferences, the MAC definitely has some star power, and Harold Fannin Jr. is definitely one of those players. And, from what I've seen so far this year, this kid has done, as we've said time and time again, just a phenomenal job. And we're going to see him on full display tonight, and I can't wait to see, him adding on to what has already been an impressive start to the year for him.
Yeah, and he's a big target. Like you mentioned, 6'4", 230, but yet somehow defenses still managed to lose him. You saw it against Texas A&M. The announcers were saying, you've got to play Where's Waldo with number 0. And they were trying their hardest to keep an eye on Harold Fannin Jr., but they were still losing him time and time again. And there doesn't seem to be a linebacker in the country or a safety in the country or even a cornerback in the country can cover Harold Fannin because he runs like a receiver, but he's 6'4", so you've got a cornerback who's, 5'10". That's a mismatch.
Yeah.
But then Harold Fannin, extremely fast, extremely athletic, so you have a linebacker who is maybe a little bit bigger, dropping back into coverage. He can't hang with him. So who are you going to put in coverage on number 0? And frankly, I just don't think there's an answer to that question.
There's definitely not an answer to that question. And going back to what you said about his size, and just the overall, I would say probably attributes that he has is he runs like a receiver, but he's built like a tight end. That's something that we don't normally see a lot of, in regards to a lot of players in this country. So I guess we could say Harold Fannin is definitely one of the most special types of players in the country, and just the Mackey Award, I would probably assume it's as good as his if he keeps it up.
Still early in the season, but if he keeps on the pace he's at, I believe I agree with you there where it's his award to lose. Getting ready for kickoff here. Bowling Green won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so the Old Dominion Monarchs will start with the football. Standing back in his own end zone, Devin Roche, ready to receive the kick off of the right foot of Zach Long. Bowling Green rocking their brand new orange uniforms, orange lids, and those beautiful white pants with the orange and brown striping down the side. Old Dominion all whites, icy whites, white helmet, white jersey, white pants. Zach Long gives it the boot, and week 5 is underway here in Bowling Green, out the back of the end zone for a touchback. Old Dominion will take over the 25-yard line.
Yeah, time to see what this Bowling Green defense can really do to start out. Kicking it away. Can't wait to see what the Falcons can do right here. But I'm interested to see how the Monarchs will, come out of this. Like we said, coming out of a bye week, maybe this is a chance to see something new from the Monarchs to start out. So,
flat out there by number 7, Grant Wilson, standing at 6'3", 217, redshirt junior from Arlington, Virginia. 42 of 72 on the season, 389 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's in the shotgun with 2 running backs lined up either side of him. He'll hand it off to the man on his right, cutting left side. That's Bryce Duke on the first carry of the day, and he'll pick up 2 yards on first down.
It's definitely a good way to get the defense fired up for, the first play of the game. Don't allow too big of a carry to start out.
Now 2 running backs to his right side, 3 receivers out wide. Man will move out. Aaron Young lines up in the slot far side. Swing pass to the backup running back, just checked into the game. Bubble screen, tackled around the 30-yard line. Someone lost a lid, but Brockhorn in there on a big tackle to bring down DeMarion Houston.
Yeah, what a job by Brockhorn, just, trying to get to the ball. They saw what type of play was going to happen right there, and great job by Horn right there.
Bowling Green coming in, that run defense averaging 217 yards per game allowed. Now, granted, they've played 2 top 10 rushing attacks in the country. Penn State clocking in at number 10, Texas A&M clocking in at number 8. So they've had their hands full, and this Old Dominion team should give them a real test. Wilson to throw, forced out of the pocket, left's going to tuck and run. He's got space in front of him, easily the first down, picked up past the 50-yard line, tightrope up the sideline, forced out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Grant Wilson looked like he was running in slow motion. It's still outrunning everyone in orange.
Yeah, definitely not something you want to see early on if you're BG. Letting, Wilson get loose like that is just something that you just can't let that happen, and just look like a miscommunication on the defense right there. So it's time to rally up and try again if you're Bowling Green.
Wilson in the shotgun, 4 receivers out wide. Aaron Young the backside, Carr left. Motions the tight end to sit behind the left tackle. Fakes the handoff to Young. He's going to throw. Steps up in the pocket, going downfield, just out of reach. He was trying to find Deontay Vines on a streak route up the seam, just a little bit too far out in front of number 0.
And a great job with coverage by number 7, Ja'Cory Benjamin. Another one of the big defensive standouts for Bowling Green. Definitely going to have to keep an eye out on him. He leads the team in interceptions, good with coverage, just good overall play by number 7.
And that run by Grant Wilson on that second to last play went for 30 yards. Trips lined up on the far side of the field. Young the back. He'll get the handoff going left side. Makes a man miss in the backfield. Aaron Young cuts up past the 25. Tackle just shy of the 20-yard line. Aaron Young now getting going.
Yeah, Reese, you and I talked a lot about Aaron Young in the pregame. So far, 206 yards rushing before this game and 1 touchdown, and just, rushing leader for Old Dominion. Got to keep close tabs on him if you're the Bowling Green defense.
2 receivers either side of the formation. Young in the backfield to the left of Wilson. Wilson with a delayed count. Bowling Green showing blitz. They'll back off. Wilson has all day in the pocket, slings it out to Aaron Young. Wrapped up out of bounds right or just shy of the 15-yard line. There was a little pressure applied there at the end by De'Aaron Kelly, but Wilson able to get that ball out of there before taking a hit.
Yeah, great job by Wilson, just making sure to get the ball out in time and getting it into his receiver because he saw the pressure coming right away. So good job by Wilson.
Pickup of a couple on first down makes it second down and about 6. Wilson, he'll fake the handoff again to Young. Bubble screen going left side, spinning around is Isaiah Page, and finally wrapped up out of bounds is Page down to the 10-yard line.
Going from talking about the rushing leader to the receiving leader, Isaiah Page, so far for this game, 12 receptions, 149 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown to his name before this Week 5 matchup.
Looks like they'll spot him down at the 9-yard line, so it's first down and goal with 12:06 and counting left to play here in the first quarter from the Doit here on Homecoming. 3 receivers out wide. Wilson to throw, looking left, firing towards the end zone. Jump ball caught. Pat Conroy with a 9-yard touchdown grab. Old Dominion grabs an early lead here, 11:57 on the clock in the first.
Yeah, for Old Dominion, that is definitely the way you want to start the game after a very, very long bye week. Just get the momentum to start out, getting the ball first and marching down the field immediately. That's something that is really good for the Monarchs right here, and can't say the same for Bowling Green, but they have a chance to answer back with, say, get on offense.
Old Dominion lining up in that swinging gate formation. Now they'll go ahead and bring it back into the traditional PAT attempt. Ethan Sanchez on to kick the extra point, 5 of 6 on the season. Snap back, hold down, kick up, make that 6 of 7 on the season. 7-0, Old Dominion leads following their first drive. We'll go ahead and step away when we come back. Bowling Green football from Doit L. Perry Stadium. Doug Guerrero will be right back here on Falcon Radio.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
7-0 Monarchs lead over Bowling Green here on Homecoming afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. It's just past 5 o'clock, 11:57 on the game clock. And Ethan Chang ready to give this one the boot. The kickoff special. He's got 12 attempts so far this season, 61.4 yards per average. Couple touchbacks, but this one not going to get into the end zone. Going to be fielded by Justin Peggies at the 10-yard line. Peggies makes a man miss. Such a dynamic kick returner. Tackled at the 35-yard line. Justin Peggies had a lot of open space there. Looked like he was getting ready to break off another big touchdown or another big kick return. Maybe gunning for that second kick return touchdown of the season after he brought back that 100-yarder. Not last week, not the week before, but the week before that on opening night.
Yeah, you definitely want to talk about, what a way to start out the season for Bowling Green. That was definitely one of the coolest moments that we have seen from this BG squad in a while.
BG going to come out on first down in the shotgun. Terrion Stewart going to get the handoff on first down. Wide open hole on the left side. Terrion Stewart trying to drag a defender with him. We brought down at the 40-yard line. That'll go as a gain of about 4 on first down.
Looked like Terrion had a little bit more room to work with on the outside, but that defender who made the tackle definitely did a solid job for him keeping that happening.
And a big thing to keep an eye on, Nick Reimer last week, the starting left tackle, left early in the game with an upper body injury. Billy Roberts in starting at the left tackle position. Terrion Stewart gets the carry on the sweep, going left side, trying to spin out of a tackle. Not a whole lot of room to run for number 4. He'll pick up a couple on second down. Also to note, Harold Fannin Jr. wasn't on the field for that play. Now he'll check back in. They had the blocking tight end Levi Gazarick in. Now Fannin will come back in for this big third down play. Third down and about 4.
Definitely going to be taking a look at Harold Fannin on this play right here. That is one of your playmakers for Bowling Green.
Two backs in the backfield for Bowling Green, Justin Peggy's Jason Patterson. Jamal Johnson going to come in motion top to bottom of the field. He'll line up on an island on the near side of the field. Fannin on the top. Trying to find Jamal Johnson. Connor Bazelak threads the needle. Up to the 50-yard line, Jamal Johnson picks up the first down for Bowling Green. 10:26 to play here in the first.
Looked like it was a bit of a hitch route there, and that's one of the simple, plays as a receiver. I played a little bit of receiver in high school, and that is one of the best routes that you can get on a third down conversion like that. You don't have to go far, just a little bit of about 5 yards up the field, and just plant your foot and go looking for that ball. So great job.
Three receivers lined up near side of the field, running back in the backfield to the left of Bazelak. Rakeem Smith going to come in motion. Screen pass, Harold Fannin. Gets out of one tackle, gets out of two tackles, still standing on his feet, finally wrapped up in the backfield. Harold Fannin Jr. dropped for a loss. They'll say forward progress stands as just a loss of 1, but he was tackled right around the 45-yard line. They'll still give him the 49. Make it second down and 11. Bowling Green trying to answer Old Dominion's opening scoring drive. They trail 7-0 here at the Doit. Smith going to come in motion again. He'll get the handoff on the jet sweep. Flag flies, play blown dead. I think this is going to be a false start.
Yeah, those are the type of penalties you do not want to get on your first opening drive of the game if you're on the offensive side of things. It's silly mistakes like that that's going to cost you a lot.
Snap infraction going to go against the starting center, Alex Padgett. That'll move Bowling Green back 5 more yards, so you lose a yard there on first down. Now you go back 5 more yards before you can get that second down play off. Now you're looking at second down and 16 from the 45-yard line. Big number 0 lined up on the near side. 2 receivers split top side. Peggy's in the backfield next to Bazelak. Bowling Green driving from left to right across your radio dial, phone, laptop, whatever you're using to tune in to tonight's homecoming game. Swing pass out to Jamal Johnson. He'll get wrapped up out of bounds around the 50-yard line, getting back to where they would have had the ball had they not had that snap infraction penalty, back up to the 50-yard line. That'll make it third down and 11. Just under 9 minutes to play here in the first. 7-0 lead for Old Dominion. Trips lined up near side for Bowling Green. Big Harold Fannin in the slot on that side. Jason Patterson the back next to Bazelak. Checking the sideline, seeing what Coach Leffler wants them to do. Old Dominion gonna bring a little bit of pressure. Third down throw, Bazelak looking left, finds Malcolm Johnson wide open. Brought down quickly after the catch. Malcolm Johnson gets Bowling Green back into enemy territory, but just shy of the sticks. That'll bring up fourth down.
Yeah, we saw Malcolm Johnson up at the top of the play on the line, right on the line of scrimmage, and I was definitely looking to see, where he was going to be at on that play, and, the ball went to him and just a little bit short of the first down mark. That'll be 4th and 4.
Fourth down and 4. They need the 39-yard line. Offense still out on the field. 2 backs either side of Bazelak, Jamal Johnson, Jason Patterson. 3 receivers out wide, and a timeout going to be called. This one taken by Bowling Green. We'll go ahead and take it with them. 7-0 Old Dominion leads. Fourth down after this. We'll be right back on Falcon Radio.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future in a world that's changing fast. Do play and laugh. Do win and lose. Do it all with confidence, kindness, and strength. And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life, what matters to me is that you keep doing. Inspire kids to do at 4h.org.
Dad, guess what?
What?
You are going to be a grandfather.
That's great. Not too long ago, moments like this with my daughter would have been a challenge. It was a long road for me to find myself again after Vietnam. It was my neighbor Jim, another Vietnam veteran, who finally convinced me that I could still connect with my family and find that fulfilling life I'd lost. And I went for help down at the VA. If I can take that first step after almost 50 years, I know other veterans can too. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Fourth down, 4 yards to go for Bowling Green's offense on their opening drive. Trying to equalize Old Dominion's opening drive touchdown, 7:43 on the clock here in the first quarter. Offense still down on the field. 3 receivers out wide. Harold Fannin alone on the top. Bazelak to throw, looking right, firing right. Malcolm Johnson has a step, and diving, reaching out for it, incomplete. Just a little bit too far out in front of Malcolm Johnson, who had a step on his DB.
Yeah, it was a great throw by Bazelak, too. Great play, great setup right there. Just like you said, Reese, a little bit too far out in front. And, you know, really questions if Johnson was able to come down with that. May have possibly could have been talking about 6 points probably being on the board for BG right now.
If that's a drop in the bucket, catching Malcolm Johnson in stride. The DB was 2-3 yards behind Johnson, so Johnson walking into the end zone, but just a little bit too far away from him. Had to lay out for it. Fell right in between his arms. Turnover on downs. Old Dominion takes over on their own 43-yard line. Receiver comes in motion. That's Isaiah Page. He'll come into the backfield. Handoff going to Duke. Duke up the middle, wrapped up from behind by Joe Sept Jr. Bowling Green's leading tackler.
And another thing I wanted to point out about BG's offense right there on that drive is that, you know, no matter what team it is, you know, from the highest to the lowest, you know, going for it on fourth down has always been high risk equals potential high reward. So I don't mind Scott Leffler getting, you know, too intense there.
Duke on the carry again, going to be brought down right around the 50-yard line, only a pickup of a couple. That's going to force another big third down for this Bowling Green defense. Old Dominion was able to convert on a couple third downs on their last drive.
Yes.
Or rather just one, if we're going to be specific. They went 1 for 1 on that first drive. Now they're faced with third down and 3. They're going to line up with 4 receivers wide, and the running back in the backfield is Aaron Young.
Big third down right here if you're the Falcons.
Got to get back off of this field, get the offense back on there to answer. Grant Wilson, pressure in his face. He's going to go down. Charles Rosser got there first, and Grant Wilson buried in the backfield. That's going to force an Old Dominion punt.
And like we said, Reese, that is exactly what Bowling Green needed right there. Way to bring pressure off the edge right there. Grant Wilson, absolutely nowhere to go, and that's how you respond if you're the Falcons defense right there. Great job.
Dontrez Brown came in to help Charles Rosser clean up that sack, and Santana Sanders just got smoked. As soon as the ball got snapped off the line of scrimmage, Charles Rosser really just had a free lane to the quarterback.
Yeah, and you mentioned Santana Sanders walking to the sideline, had a little bit of a, you know, shake of disapproval in his head, you know. But after that, you have to reset. You have to let all that go. If you're a player who made a mistake, whether it's on offense or defense, you have to let that go and reset for your next drive.
Seamus Hall gets his 24th punt of the season off. Justin Peggy's fielded it, got tackled inside the 20-yard line of Bowling Green. BG going to take over with 5:50 remaining in the first quarter. They'll have it first down and 10 from their own 16-yard line. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio. Don't go anywhere.
My name is Hunter Hayes. I know myself, and I know my buzzed warning signs.
One shot is about knowing my limits or not necessarily knowing my limits.
I start with one shot to have a good time.
One of the signs that I'm starting to feel a little buzz is when I start solving not only my own problems, but the entire world's problems. When I know I'm going out, I know I'm gonna start with calling for a ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
BGSU Women's Golf travels to Iowa City to partake in the Diane Thompson Invitational on September 30th through October 1st. Falcon Media Sports Network has got you covered with the recap exclusively at bgfalconmedia.com.
5:50 to play here in the first stanza here at Doyle Perry Stadium. 7-0 Old Dominion trying to hold on to this lead over Bowling Green here on homecoming. Reese Patricus, Carter Leonard, happy to have you folks along here with us. After the Seamus Hall punt, BG going to take over on their own 24-yard line. Terrion Stewart going to be the setback, lined up about 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. 3 receivers lined up out wide. Old Dominion going to bring pressure. Terrion Stewart, foot in the dirt, cuts back. He'll pick up a yard or two on first down.
For Bowling Green's offense here, you know, after that first offensive drive where it ended in, I would consider pretty spectacular fashion despite not converting the major fourth down conversion. But it's time to put all that away. It's time to reset on the offense and see if they can march down the field and get back in this game and put their own tallies up on the board.
2nd down and 8, now under 5.5 to play here in the first quarter. 2 receivers in the backfield with Bazelak. Bazelak going to motion Fannin out to the outside. Terrion Stewart fakes the handoff, going to throw it on the run. Jamal Johnson on the reception, gets out of bounds past the 30-yard line. And another big 3rd down here for this BG offense. It's going to be 3rd down and short. 3rd down and 2 according to the scoreboard.
Definitely going to be a big 3rd down conversion right here, but I would watch Terrion Stewart in the backfield right here. Definitely a running back that you could give it to punch it up the gut and get that first down. So watch out for number 4, ladies and gentlemen.
BG 1 and 2 on 3rd down, brings in an extra blocker. Terrion Stewart getting the handoff left side, hit right around the sticks. They're going to give him the first down. He got up to the 35, just needed the 34. Bowling Green going to move the chains.
Big collision for Terrion Johnson and some of the members of the Monarchs defense. You know, Old Dominion so far definitely bringing that intensity on the defensive side of the ball. You know, just really good job by them. Something that the Falcons are going to have to really, you know, get a hold of and get better of as time goes on throughout this whole entire game.
1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. 4:12 to play in the first quarter. 7-0 Old Dominion lead over Bowling Green. 3 receivers lined up out wide. Fannin going to motion in closer to Rakeem Smith lined up on the outside. Play action pass. Bazelak deep drop. Uncorks one over the middle field looking for Johnson. That one dropped. Had Malcolm Johnson in stride. Underthrew it a little bit. Johnson had to stop. Still able to get close to hauling it in, but that one just fell right through his arms. Going to bring up 2nd down and 10.
Make that missed opportunity number 2 for Malcolm Johnson. Obviously, we don't like to brain up when players miss opportunities like that, but that's just another one of those plays that you could go, man, what if he was able to hold that in? So, again, put all that behind you and just focus on the next play.
2 targets, 2 drops for Malcolm Johnson Jr. and 1 catch for 7 yards. Terrion Stewart going to get the handoff on 2nd down, tries to cut it up back through the right side. And he just ran right into a pile of Monarch defenders. And they're going to give him no gain on second down.
The brick wall, as we like to call it, Reese. Just once again, another good job by the defensive line for the Monarchs and some of their linebackers getting up there, making sure that Terrion Stewart does not get loose.
In the shotgun again, 3 receivers lined up near side. Jason Patterson checks in as the back. He's to the left of Bazelak. Levi Gazaric comes in on the left side of the offensive line as an extra blocker. Patterson switches sides. Third down play. Play action. Bazelak steps up, going to throw it on the run. Got Levi Gazaric for the first down. Tabletop flipped over past the 50-yard line. Levi Gazaric with his first reception of the season moves the chains for Bowling Green. 3 minutes to play in the first.
And a great job by Bazelak rolling out of the pocket. He felt it collapsing right then and there, and he was able to find Gazaric for that first down reception, and just good overall awareness from Connor Bazelak.
Levi Gazaric looked like he was coming in as an extra blocker, lined up to the left of Billy Roberts playing left tackle. Maybe just a little bit of a chip block and then go run your route. Patterson going to come in motion from the top of the screen to the bottom. Terrion Stewart checks back in. Bazelak play action, rolling out right. Has to dump it off before he gets hit. Found a man on the near sideline, incomplete. He was trying to find Jacob Harris, the son of BGSU great Josh Harris, but unable to haul it in. And a penalty marker down on the field. BG players pointing towards Old Dominion's side. We're going to have a holding call going against the Monarchs. 10-yard penalty gives BG an automatic first down. 2:27 to play here in the first. BG trying to tie this ball game up at 7 apiece. Put together a nice long drive, and they're moving down the field.
It looked like after the play that Connor Bazelak took a shot at the end of that play, and he was a little bit slow to get up, but luckily he's back up, and he's going to keep chugging forward.
Patterson motions into the fullback position, great at blocking. Pitch play to Terrion Stewart, trying to get him out in space. Terrion Stewart gets past the line of scrimmage and hit as soon as he breaks that plane. Flags will fly, and I wonder if we're going to see either a holding penalty or maybe something against Old Dominion on that tackle. Holding will be the call going against Bowling Green, so after a defensive holding on that last play, now an offensive holding will march the offense back.
Yeah, that's one thing you do not want to have on when you're on offense. You know, when a defense gets the penalty, that gives you positive momentum down the field. And the one thing that you do not want to respond with after that is having a big penalty of your own. So, tough break for the Falcons right there.
First down and 20 from the 46-yard line of Old Dominion. Bowling Green. Bazelak with Jamal Johnson in the backfield. He motions out. Top of the field now. He'll come back. Fake the handoff to him on the jet sweep. Bazelak unloading one towards Fannin on the near sideline. He's got him. Harold Fannin Jr. with a big reception on first down to move the chains again for Bowling Green as we take under 2 minutes to play here in quarter number 1.
We talked about him in the pregame, and we're going to keep continuing to talk about Harold Fannin Jr. with the amount of plays that he has made so far this year. Great job from Bazelak all the way to number 0. Just Harold Fannin Jr., ladies and gentlemen.
30 yards on the reception for Harold Fannin Jr. Bowling Green now in the hurry-up. Running back behind Bazelak is Terrion Stewart. He'll get the handoff. Running straight into the Royal family. He'll get brought down in the backfield.
Yeah, so far in this game, Terrion Stewart not having the great start that many people, many fans, or many people within the industry hope that he would have. And hopefully Terrion is able to get the momentum swinging his way, because so far with every carry, the Monarchs have been swarming all around him and just not been a good way to start out for him.
And he'll check out for the second down and 12 play. Jamal Johnson going to come in for him, and you wonder maybe if Terrion Stewart just isn't 100%. Got dinged up in the Fordham game, missed the Penn State game, and then you have the Texas A&M game where he played sparingly. Maybe didn't want to re-injure that ankle that Coach Leffler was talking about. Rakeem Smith going to come in motion. Jamal Johnson comes out of the backfield on a route. Bazelak pump fakes, running around now, trying to find some space. He'll just chuck it out of bounds. Gets rid of it before he can lose a whole bunch of yards. He was dancing all the way back around the 35-yard line. It's going to bring him 3rd and 12.
And you talked about Stewart and him being a little bit banged up. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, with these athletes, that they're just superhuman and they can get back to 100% right away, but that's not always the case. So, you know, Reese, that is definitely a good question to play into, or tinker with, I should say, in regards to Stewart being 100% right now.
And Old Dominion looked like they wanted an intentional grounding penalty. Referees say that there was a receiver in the area. Another third down and 12 play with 36 seconds on the clock. Whistle blown on the field. This one going to be taken by Bowling Green. A timeout. Their second timeout of the first half with just 36 seconds left in the first quarter. We'll go ahead and take it with them. 7-0 Old Dominion on top of Bowling Green here on Homecoming. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career that I could be proud of.
At DAV, we're on a mission, helping veterans of all generations get the benefits they've earned.
I'm Cece. My victory was finishing my education.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The Western Scrub Jay. I was taking my science class on a virtual reality bird-watching expedition. All of a sudden, Charlie Kane shouts, "Arr! Arr!" He had spotted the elusive black swift, a bird rarely seen in the wild. For a brief moment, Charlie had not the eyes of a 9-year-old boy. He had the eyes of an eagle.
Teachers just have better work stories. Find out how creative teaching can be at teachdfw.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
This is the story of Julie Guillot. She's a Leukemia and Lymphoma Society advocate and the mother of a child who battled blood cancer.
Zach was diagnosed with AML, a deadly leukemia, when he was only 5. He died at just 9 years old, really from the treatment that was meant to save him.
Today, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is pioneering breakthrough treatments for kids with cancer. Visit LLS.org and save a child's life.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Coming out of Bowling Green, second timeout of the first half. They trail 7-0 to Old Dominion here on Homecoming. Reese Patricus, Carter Leonard, happy to have folks along here with us. 36 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Bowling Green faced with a third down and 12 on the 18-yard line of the Monarchs. We have some scores from around the Mid-American Conference. We'll get you those in just a second. Bowling Green is technically the nightcap for the conference, but there are some other games going on right now. Old Dominion showing a heck of a lot of pressure. They got about 7 guys standing on the offensive line. Bazelak to throw. Firing towards the end zone. He's got Fannin wide open. Bucket catch. Touchdown, Fannin. 18-yard pitch and catch from Connor Bazelak to Harold Fannin. His third touchdown of the season. Their third connection here today.
That right there is how you respond on offense, ladies and gentlemen. And who better to throw it to than number 0 himself. Harold Fannin Jr. just continues to impress week in and week out.
Now, an interesting thing to note, Alan Anaya, usually the holder for Bowling Green, is inactive today. Travis Kenner in to hold. We'll see if that makes any sort of difference in the kicking game. Jackson Cleather on for the extra point. 10 of 11 so far on the season. Snap back, hold down, kick is up, kick is through, and we're tied up here 7 apiece. Old Dominion, Bowling Green, 31 seconds on the clock in the first quarter. Now we'll go ahead and bring you those scores from around the Mid-American Conference while we wait for the following kickoff to set up. Of course, here in Bowling Green, it's 7-7. Down in Oxford, Ohio, Miami, Ohio, and UMass currently in a bit of a struggle. 16-10, Miami, Ohio, the Redhawks on top. Up in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, San Diego State 21-13 the score there. Down in Marshall, Western Michigan visiting. They trail 17-10. Down in Athens, the Ohio Bobcats on top of the Akron Zips 14-10. And out in Kent, the 0-4 Kent State Golden Flashes knotted up 21-21 with the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Not something that we certainly expected, especially going into this week with how bad Kent State really got beat up on in their out-of-conference slate. But Tommy Ulatowski, his first start of the season after the first two quarterbacks on the depth chart for Kent State, they go out with season-ending injuries last week against Penn State. Tommy Ulatowski, 7-12, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Filling in very nicely there for that Golden Flashes offense. Zach Long on to boot this one away. 31 seconds left on that clock remaining in the first quarter. Devin Roche back to receive the kick. Zach Long boots it away. That one just going to go out the back of the end zone for another touchback.
Very interested to see how the Monarchs respond on offense right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we get into a little bit of a back and forth match because, you know, while Bowling Green was definitely favored heading into this game, the Monarchs have really held their own so far. They've really, you know, from going down the field, scoring the first touchdown of the game as soon as they touch the ball, to just being very, very aggressive on defense. You know, the Monarchs are definitely, you know, standing their own ground. Very, very interesting. Very, very exciting to see that from them.
Bowling Green came into this game favored by 9.5 at home after 2 great showings against Power 5 schools. Duke in a motion out of the backfield lineup by himself near side. Faking the design QB run, wide open man coming up the seam, Pat Conroy. A lot of space in front of him. He's got one man to beat. He's in for a first play touchdown for Old Dominion. Pat Conroy with his second touchdown of the afternoon. Interesting play design there. Grant Wilson kind of delayed, tucked it, looked like he was going to take off with it. Got the linebackers to kind of get sucked in a little bit, leave Pat Conroy open. He's off for a 75-yard touchdown. Old Dominion reclaims their lead 13-7 pending the extra point.
Yeah, big shout out to Grant Wilson right there too. Wait, what a job fooling the entire defense right there. I mean, we could give, you know, Pat Conroy, you know, the big congrats as well for scoring the touchdown as well, but just what a job by Old Dominion putting a little bit of trickery in there. That's something that we don't see a whole lot, but you know, they're not afraid to pull it off. So good job of the Old Dominion offense.
Extra point from Ethan Sanchez, up and good. Now 2 for 2 on point after tries here today. That one reception from Pat Conroy, almost doubling his season total coming into today, had 44 yards receiving in the prior 3 games that they played. That one goes for 75, only taking 11 seconds off the clock, and Bowling Green going to get the football back with 20 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
While Bowling Green has Harold Fannin Jr., I guess you could say Old Dominion has their very own special tight end, that being Pat Conroy. What a job that he's had so far to start out this game, been the big playmaker. Currently on the sideline right now, getting all the, you know, the dabs up, the high fives that you could get. Just great job from number 15.
Now the offense ready to come back on the field and answer that quick touchdown from the Monarchs. Justin Peggy standing back at his own 5-yard line. Jason Patterson standing at his 10-yard line. Ethan Chang gives it the run up and the boot, kicking into the wind. That one going to be caught by Peggy's inside the 10-yard line. Peggy's going to return it. Stutter steps, trying to find an edge. He'll be brought down by his ankle at the 20-yard line, and that's where Bowling Green's offense will take back over. Only a couple seconds to breathe. Now they're already back on the field.
A nice job by the Old Dominion special teams right there, being on hot pursuit. Way to get there.
Peggy's a guy that you got to make sure you keep in front of you. We all saw at week 1 that opening kick against Fordham, 100 yards to the house. Longest kickoff return for a touchdown in BGSU history. Terrion Stewart in the backfield next to Connor Bazelak. 3 receivers lined up out wide. Fannin in the slot near side. Going to motion Jalen Tillman in a little bit closer to the formation. Terrion Stewart going to get the handoff on the sweep. Monarchs in hot pursuit. He'll get wrapped up for a huge loss on first down all the way back to the 16-yard line of Bowling Green. A loss of 3, and that should just about take us to the end of the first quarter, and I say it will. Clock hits triple zeros. 14-7, Old Dominion leads over Bowling Green here. We head to the second quarter right here on Falcon Radio.
If you suffer from COPD symptoms like shortness of breath and fatigue, where do you turn? There are medications and oxygen, but do you know about pulmonary rehab? 3 out of 5 COPD patients have never heard of it. Pulmonary Rehab is an exercise, education, and support program that gives you tools to manage your condition, and Medicare typically pays for it. So whether it's grocery shopping on your own or just walking across the room, Pulmonary Rehab can help you. Visit livebetter.org to find out about your options for pulmonary rehab today.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Crooked teeth may embarrass kids whose families can't afford braces, and trying to fix their teeth themselves can make things worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. For children and teens who qualify and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, treatment can be life-changing and help them smile with confidence. Learn more at aaoinfo.org.
This season, Falcon Media Sports Network is partnering with WBGU PBS. We will bring you broadcasts of home matches for BGSU men's and women's soccer featuring FMSN's Lucas Kleinmeyer and Henry Costco. Head over to the WBGU PBS YouTube channel to listen in.
15 fresh minutes on the clock, 15 minutes remaining in the first half of action here from Dwight Perry Stadium, homecoming night here in Bowling Green. Bowling Green trails 14-7 to the visiting Old Dominion Monarchs. They're faced with second down and 13 as there's just a few more seconds to tick off of that media timeout clock. Thompson Scholars down on the field. Bowling Green boasting that they're one of the best universities in the country at giving out those need-based scholarships, and that's certainly a good statistic to lead in. Yeah. But the Bowling Green offense back on the field, down by 7 points, trying to have an answer after that quick 75-yard touchdown on the first play of Old Dominion's second drive of the game. And Bowling Green's defense, one of the best against the pass in the country, ranked 63rd, allowing just under 200 yards, and they're getting beat pretty badly so far. Bazelak to throw, scanning the field, forced out to his left, going to dump it to Jamal Johnson off of his fingertips, and incomplete, that was Jalen Tillman, but there's a flag on the field.
Yeah, you talked a lot about the pass defense being, really, really important for Bowling Green so far this year. And, that play to Pat Conroy for his second touchdown of the game, even some of the best things in the world have their miss assignments, just a good, that's what trickery is all about. It's trying to fool everybody, and Bowling Green was unfortunately the benefactor of that sort of situation.
Flag on the play goes for defensive holding. That'll move the chains. First down and 10 now from the 26-yard line. Terrion Stewart going to get the carry. Cuts it back to the right side. Dragged forwards near that 30-yard line. They're going to spot about a half yard shy. They'll say the 29. So a 3-yard carry on first down will bring up second down and 7. 14:40 to play here in the first half. They're trying to get Terrion going really, really badly, and they need him to get going. He's averaging 1.3 yards a carry so far today, 7 attempts, 9 net yards. Not the Terrion Stewart we're used to seeing. He checks out of the game for Jason Patterson. Jamal Johnson comes in motion. He'll settle in the slot near side. Patterson going to get the handoff, trying to run left. Now he'll cut it back inside. Jason Patterson with some space. Jason Patterson past the 40-yard line. He'll get brought down just shy of the 45. The 43 is where they'll spot him. Another Bowling Green first down with 14:05 to play in the second.
Awesome job by Patterson, and a good job of the offensive line getting the blocking up front. Patterson was able to make those moves and move the chains once again for the Falcons.
13-yard carry for Jason Patterson, now up to 17 on the day. Terrion Stewart checks back into the game. Harold Fannin comes across the offensive line. Fake the handoff to Stewart. Screen pass to Harold Fannin Jr. Harold Fannin Jr. with some space. He'll slow down and fall down just shy of the 50-yard line. Got thrown backwards before progress. Will give him the 49-yard line, so he'll pick up a 6 on first down. Gives us 2nd and 4.
Any positive yardage is always great to have, especially for the Bowling Green Falcons right here. Just, great job by Harold Fannin Jr. once again. Could have done a little bit better on the blocking up front, but it's positive yardage nonetheless.
From their own 49-yard line, 2nd down and 4, trailing by 7 points. Terrion Stewart in the backfield to the left of Bazelak. Levi Gazaric comes in motion. He'll settle in the backfield. Stewart gets the handoff, going right side, stutter stepping, trying to find some space. He'll drag a couple defenders forward near that first down marker. They're going to spot him about a yard shy. Got past the 50-yard line. They'll say he's down at the 48-yard line of Old Dominion. That'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Yeah, so far this drive, compared to the start of the game, Terrion Stewart has had a really solid job. Has really done a solid job on this drive. Kind of questions on him. His confidence wasn't as high at the beginning of the game. Just trying to get back into a rhythm. So we'll see how number 4 goes on later on in this game.
Bowling Green faced with their 6th third down of the evening. Stewart still in the backfield. Elijah Boyd going to come across the formation, just checking in for Levi Gazaric. Stewart going to get the handoff, trying to pile drive his way over defender. Still on his feet, he hurls over a man and finally brought down. He was so close from breaking a big one, but a last-second grab on his foot saved possibly a touchdown for Old Dominion. Looks like he was... Officials are going to take a timeout for an injury. It looks like Terrion Stewart picked up the first down, but the down marker still right about where the offense ran that 3rd down play from. Officials going to step aside. We're going to go ahead and take this timeout with them. Don't go anywhere. 14-7 Old Dominion leads right here on Falcon Radio.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Eating, working, living pain-free. These are a few of the things many of us take for granted. But for many adults with disabilities who are elderly or have serious medical issues, dental care is simply unaffordable. Dental Lifeline Network is looking for dentists who can change this. DLN is asking dentists and their teams to volunteer to just see one of the many patients in need. You can literally change a life. Visit willyouseeone.org to help change one life in your community today.
Still a couple seconds remaining on that TV timeout, but we're back here. Bowling Green 7, Old Dominion 14 here on homecoming. And I can't think of a better way to be spending homecoming than up here with my partner, Carter Leonard, calling a great game so far. And also, I can't think of a better way than to be celebrating your 50th anniversary of your graduation, your 50th class reunion, the class of 1974, here in attendance, getting back together for homecoming. Kind of works out perfectly. I wonder if that was planned.
It had to be. I mean, definitely, a big, anniversary. The 50th anniversary is definitely, a big celebration.
Fourth down and 1. Jason Patterson going to get the handoff, barreling forwards, picking up the first down with ease. Jason Patterson up to the 45-yard line of Old Dominion. Moves the chains for the Falcons. And maybe a bit of a lucky break there. Old Dominion had 8 in the box, stepping up, getting close to that line of scrimmage. Bowling Green's offensive line did a fantastic job of opening up a hole right down the middle. Jason Patterson able to break right through it, pick up a first down. Now at the 46-yard line is where they'll spot him, maybe the 45.5. Regardless, it's first down and 10, 11:15 to play in the first half. Patterson still the setback. Malcolm Johnson Jr. going to come in motion from the top of the field, settle in the bottom slot top side. Patterson, play action. Bazelak forced to step up, fires one. Rakeem Smith dropped in the bucket. Rakeem Smith down the near sideline, tackled out of bounds around the 15.
Great job by Rakeem Smith getting that separation and able to pull away from the defender right there. And once again, good job by Connor Bazelak. He saw the pocket collapsing, and the defender looked like he was probably going to catch up to number 7 right there, but number 65, that being apologies, ladies and gentlemen, number 65, that being Jake Burns. Great job with the chop block right there, and or cutoff block, so to speak, and Bazelak was able to get the ball from point A to point B.
Mario Thompson was there applying the pressure on Bazelak. He was able to get it away. Patterson with the carry going left side, wide open hole opened up. Jason Patterson down the sideline, touchdown BG. Jason Patterson from 17 yards out. This game is an extra point away from being tied once more.
Going into this game, we talked a lot about Terrion Stewart, but how about Jason Patterson? What a job that he has done so far in this opening half. Just, able, when he gets that bucket up front, as we have talked about with this Bowling Green offensive line so far in this game, he is really, really off to the races. So, good job once again from number 28, and now Bowling Green is just 1 point away from tying this game back up once again.
First touchdown of the season for Jason Patterson, that one from 17 yards. Good to see him finally getting the spoils of what he has really worked heavily towards. Extra point from Cleather, good. We're knotted up at 14. Back to Patterson, a guy who has kind of been buried on the depth chart. You've had Terrion Stewart since the 2020 season. He's been the feature back in 2022. He steps away for the season. Patterson kind of forced to step up, has a 500-yard season. And then Terrion Stewart's back in 2023. He's relegated back to that backup role. But now with Terrion Stewart, maybe not at 100%, trying to keep him healthy as we move into MAC play starting next week. Patterson's starting to finally see the hard work that he's put in pay off, and we heard from Connor Bazelak a couple weeks ago at the press conference prior to the Penn State game. A fantastic blocker, a great person, great teammate, and the third time I'm going to say it, I'm very glad to see Patterson finally get to see that hard work finally pay off. Media timeout on the field. We're going to go ahead and take it with them. 14 all here in Bowling Green. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest, cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom now.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
BGSU women's soccer travels to Yager Stadium to take on the Miami, Ohio Redhawks for the fourth game of their MAC schedule on Sunday, September 29th, with kickoff at 1 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network will have the preview and recap available on bgfalconmedia.com.
Following the 17-yard touchdown run from Jason Patterson, it's 14-all here in Bowling Green. 10:22 left to play here in quarter number 2. Zach Long on the field ready to kick this one away during that break. The 2024 BGSU baseball team recognized for their 2024 regular season MAC championship. Great to see those guys out there. It's been a program that has struggled for a long time, and it's good to see them finally succeeding. Looking forward to see what they have coming for next year. Zach Long gives it the big run up, boots it away end over end. That one fly out the back of the end zone for another touchback. That last drive from Bowling Green, 9 plays, 81 yards, 4 minutes, 54 seconds. Their time of possession now 14 minutes, 37 seconds compared to just 5 minutes for Old Dominion. Connor Bazelak, 10 of 13, passing 124 yards, 1 touchdown. Jason Patterson leads the team in rushing, 4 attempts, 37 yards, and that touchdown run. Harold Fannin looking to have his 3rd consecutive 100-yard receiving game. He's got 4 catches for 53 yards with 10:22 remaining in the second quarter. Wilson comes out in the shotgun, 2 backs either side, 3 receivers lined up out wide. Gonna hand the ball off, fake the handoff instead. He's got Isaiah Page. Isaiah Page still on his feet, finally wrapped up from behind. Avy McGarry in on the tackle. Jordan Oladokin helping to slow him down for 1 play, 1 first down for Old Dominion here on their 3rd drive.
And we see Old Dominion right here going up with the hurry-up offense. Let's see if that pulls any advantage for them.
Roche, the kick returner, gets the handoff, trying to go up the right side. He'll get up to the 45-yard line, gain of about 3 there on first down. That'll bring up 2nd and 7. Hurry up, as you said, being employed, or deployed rather. 3 receivers wide, play action to Roche. Wilson forced out, directing traffic, trying to find a man on the sideline, incomplete. He was trying to find Miles Alston.
And once again, great job by Bowling Green bringing that pressure. Grant Wilson having to scramble out of the pocket right there and able to just not really get a whole lot right there. That's that energy that you have to constantly bring on the defense.
3rd down and 7. BG's defense needs a stop here. They haven't forced an Old Dominion punt all day. Finally slowing down the offense. Roche will switch sides of Wilson. 2 receivers split either side of the formation. Isaiah Page in the slot, lined up near side. He'll motion further in. Wilson looking left, firing over the middle, going deep, trying to find Page. Tight coverage applied from Jordan Oladokin, and a flag going to come in, and I think this one going to go against number 1 for Bowling Green. Grabbed a little too much jersey, and that's going to move the chains for Old Dominion.
And with such a big 3rd down conversion right there, that is something that you cannot commit if you're Bowling Green, right? The coverage was good, just like you mentioned, Reese, a lot of jersey pulling right there. That's what really stinks about this whole situation, is all that momentum that the defense was bringing is kind of distinguished at this current point.
And what's interesting to me is looking at that ball didn't really look catchable.
It really didn't. It looked like it was pretty out of reach, but the ref thought otherwise, and here we are, Monarchs trying to move down the field.
Back in the backfield, 3 receivers split up top side. Play action to Aaron Young. Wilson firing down the middle field, got Page with a step, dropping the bucket, incomplete. Great coverage there from Patrick Day to knock that one out of the hands of Isaiah Page and save a touchdown. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
That's what I love about coverage, Reese, is especially with those deep balls. You really look to see if the receiver's going to come down with it or the defender's going to make a great play to make sure that ball does not get in reach of the receiver. And as you mentioned, Dave, great job swatting that ball out of reach. And it is now 2nd down and 10 for the Monarchs.
And that ball was on the money. Page had a couple steps on Day, maybe a little bit underthrown, allowed Day to close in and knock that ball away. Man goes in motion, lines up in the backfield next to Wilson. He'll get the handoff going left side on the sweep play. Stopped at the line of scrimmage, gets past one man and finally brought down just another yard or two behind that. Demarion Houston on the carry, another third down now for Old Dominion. 3rd down and 6.
Big third down for the Falcons right here. You have to get a stop.
Need to get off the field here. 3rd down and 6, under 9 to play here in the second quarter. 14 all here at the Doit. Bowling Green with 5 on the defensive line. And Wilson's going to throw looking left. Clean pocket hit as he delivered it. That one over the head of anybody. Closest receiver there was actually Edward Rambo, who is a BG defensive back.
And a great job from awareness from Edward Rambo as well when he was playing that coverage real well. You know, you don't want to get, like we mentioned, you know, just a few plays earlier when Bowling Green had that big 3rd down and 7, you know, play. That was what really changed the tide of the drive for the Monarchs. Is, you know, you can't let those defensive pass interferences or holdings come up, and you have to, you know, really be aware of what's going on. And great job by Rambo right there to not make sure that he doesn't commit any sort of penalty whatsoever.
Ethan Sanchez on to kick a field goal. Timeout called by Old Dominion. Sanchez's long on the season is 40 yards. This one, if he were to kick it, would be from about 53. What he does have going for him is that he's kicking into the wind rather than if they were going the other way. If they were going the way that they were going in the first quarter, he would be kicking against the wind. So maybe a little bit of a benefit here. We talked about that wind over and over again. Hasn't really had much of an effect on the passing game. A combined 242 yards passing. Wind hasn't had much of an effect there. We'll see how it affects the kicking game. Ethan Sanchez, 3 for 3 on field goals so far this season. He attempts one from 53 yards out.
Yeah, and about the wind, too. There's been points where it started to pick up, then go back down. Pick up, and then back down. So it's been
very bipolar wind.
Definitely, for sure.
Ian Brandt, the holder. Snap back, hold down, kick is up. Sanchez's kick end over end. That one finds the back of the net. 17-14, Old Dominion reclaims their lead. And a new long field goal for the season for Ethan Sanchez, breaking that previous mark by 13 yards. Media timeout down on the field. We'll go ahead and take it with him. 8:33 left in the first half. Old Dominion on top of Bowling Green, 17-14 here on Falcon Radio.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. At Children International, we know that the journey to end poverty for good begins first with a child. It starts with their first checkup, lesson, opportunity, job. That journey takes commitment from people like you and me to end poverty for good. Learn more at children.org.
Hi, this is Dave Gosher, radio play-by-play voice of the Boston Bruins, and you're listening to all the high-flying action of Bowling Green Falcon sports on Falcon Radio.
We depend on our drinking water supply daily, but where does that water come from? Your water provider encourages you to get to know your local water source so together we can protect and preserve it. The investments we make as a community to protect our water source now ensure we have a sustainable drinking water supply for the future. Visit drinktap.org to learn more. This message is brought to you by the American Water Works Association and your local water provider.
Standing up for what's right. Helping out when things go wrong. Seeking the truth and speaking our minds. Not just making records, but breaking them. Leading the way behind the camera, beyond the runway, and on the silver screen. Not just making our mark, but making a difference. Now that's a job for a Girl Scout. Girl Scouts, preparing girls for a lifetime of leadership.
Following the 53-yard field goal from Ethan Sanchez, now Ethan Chang on to kick it away for Old Dominion. 17-14 the score here at the Doint. Bowling Green trailing by just 3. Defense did a great job of forcing that field goal. They've struggled a little bit keeping Old Dominion out of the end zone. Able to bend but not necessarily break. 8:33 remaining on that clock here in half number 1. Reese Patrikas, Carter Leonard. Happy to have you folks tuning in here with us as Chang gives it the boot into the wind. That one going to be fielded by Peggy's, and he's going to come out of the end zone with it. Justin Peggy's splits 2 tacklers at the 20-yard line, brought down right around that 21's where they'll spot him. So a gain of 21 for Justin Peggy's. And the 21-yard line is where the BG offense will come back out, take back over with 8:26 on the clock here in quarter number 2.
Although we have a little over 8 minutes to go before the end of the half, I guess, Reese, that we could probably say that this half has been a lot of back and forth action for both Bowling Green and Old Dominion. So it'll be interesting to see who prevails at the end of the half going into the second half. Just a lot of back and forth.
Fake the handoff to Rakeem Smith coming on the jet sweep, going downfield with it, trying to find Jamal Johnson. Overthrew him a little bit is Bazelak. Bazelak looking for a flag from the near side sideline official. Not going to find one there.
Yeah, it looked like Jamal Johnson was also looking for one as well. As soon as he got by the defender, a little bit of a tug on the back of the jersey right there, and he kind of held his hand up, wanting to see if he was going to get anything, but nothing came about it right then and there.
Unable to get any sort of call. 2nd down and 10. Terrion Stewart the back. Jason Patterson lines up at the fullback. Stewart gets the handoff, runs right into a crowd of Monarchs. Pile being pushed a little bit. Not going to get much further than the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 10.
Saw Bazelak took a little bit of a tumble right there as soon as he handed the ball off. Don't know what happened there. Probably his foot just got caught up in the turf, but just an odd sequence of events on that play, so to speak.
3rd down and 10 as we tick under 8 minutes to play in the second quarter. Late substitution for Old Dominion. Jalen White-McLean checking in for Amori Morrison. Old Dominion looks like they're only going to rush 4. 3 receivers split top side for Bowling Green. Levi Gazarek lined up off the left side of the left tackle.
Patterson on the other side of Bazelak now.
Fakes the handoff to Patterson. Bazelak pump fakes, now scrambling around in the pocket. He's going to have to get rid of it. He finds Patterson. Diving grab, flag flies. If the play stands, it'll be a 1st down for Bowling Green.
Good job by Patterson once again, trying to make a lot out of a little right there on that play.
Looks like it's going to be in the realm of holding against Old Dominion. Although we'll wait to hear the official ruling from the head official.
Looks like the Monarchs are...
Holding is going to be the call against Keandre Harris in coverage there against Patterson, who came out of the backfield, kind of got lost there a little bit in the eyes of the Old Dominion defense. It's going to give Bowling Green a fresh set of downs up to the 34-yard line, 7:15 to play here in the first half. Peggy's motions out of the backfield. Now he's going to come across on the jet sweep. Play action. Bazelak dumps it off to Fannin on the screen. Fannin with a little bit of room, stumbling, trying to keep his balance up past the 35-yard line. They'll give him the 36, so a gain of 2 on 1st down.
Yeah, in the pregame, we talked a lot about Fannin Jr.'s size and just, how big of a player he is. Right then and there, just so hard to bring down each and every time. So good job by Fannin Jr. trying to stay up despite the fact that it was only a gain of 2. So Fannin is always going to bring that toughness each and every play.
Patrick Smith-Young in on the tackle, that do-it-all safety for this Old Dominion squad. Nate Pabst now in at left tackle for Bowling Green. Burns playing left guard. Pass dump off Jason Patterson just behind him, falls incomplete. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 8. Bazelak just kind of had to get rid of that one. There was pressure in his face really as soon as he rolled out to his right. Just a little bit behind Jason Patterson out in the flat.
Again, just talking about that defensive pressure that Old Dominion has really brought so far, especially coming from either the edge rushers or just the defensive line in general, just giving the offensive line for Bowling Green fits.
Old Dominion showing a heck of a lot of pressure. They've got about 8 guys crowding the line of scrimmage. They'll bring all 8. Bazelak steps up, runs around in the pocket, fires one downfield looking for Fannin. He's got him in stride! Harold Fannin down to the 20-yard line. Bowling Green with a field-flipping play. That was the only thing that Bazelak could really do. He was forced to his left, and he hit Fannin right on the money, over the shoulder. Just looking at this replay on the scoreboard here at the Doit, he couldn't have placed that ball any better. Now it's 1st down and 10, and BG just outside the red zone at the 21-yard line. 5:55 to play here in the second quarter. Patterson the back. Jamal Johnson going to come in motion. Patterson gets the handoff, going right side, stutter stepping, dragging defenders with him. He'll get wrapped down behind the line.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Reese. What a job by Connor Bazelak right there to just put that nice touch on the ball right there and just give it to Harold Fannin on that nice dime of a pass right there. Just, again, great job by both parties on the offense.
So the new look offensive line for Bowling Green: Nate Paps at left tackle, Jake Burns at left guard, Padgett still at center, Tunde Fadakazi still at right guard, and Alex Wolschlager still at that right tackle position. Peggy's and Johnson in the backfield. Bazelak fakes the flip to Peggy. He's going to dump it off to Finn Hogan. Coming across on a crossing route. He'll get knocked out of bounds. A short gain on 2nd down will bring up 3rd and medium.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of Finn Hogan in this game so far. When Harold Fannin Jr. is not doing what Harold Fannin Jr. does, Finn Hogan, he's been on some either some pass blocking assignments or some run blocking assignments. So got to get the other tight ends active too, because they are just as important as Harold Fannin Jr. for this Bowling Green offense.
Finn Hogan 1 catch for 5 yards today. That brings his season total up to 3 catches for 20 yards. Patterson still in the backfield. We haven't seen Terrion Stewart this entire drive. 3rd down and 6 from the 17-yard line of Old Dominion. Patterson going to switch sides, going from right to left of Connor Bazelak. Bazelak's going to throw, looking left, now just going to tuck it and run. Sees a wide open lane. He's going to get out of bounds right past the sticks. 1st down for Bowling Green, coming from the legs of Connor Bazelak. 4:22 and ticking left here in the first half. Got out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Terrion Stewart actually just now checked back into the game, so got to really question on if they're going to really start eliminating his reps so far in this game, because as we mentioned time and time again, we don't know if he's back to 100% due to his injuries to start out.
And he'll get the carry here on 1st and goal, running straight into a pile, and I think he lost the football. Old Dominion says they have it.
It's one of those interesting things where it's a big pile and you really don't know who has it and who doesn't have it.
Waiting for the official referee's signal. Old Dominion says they have it. BG now says they have it.
Yeah, it definitely looked like Stewart did lose it at the end right there.
And they'll say Bowling Green was able to get back on top of it. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Uncharacteristic fumble there from Terrion Stewart. Lucky that someone in orange was able to fall back on top of it. 2nd down and goal from the 10-yard line. 3:30 to play here in half number 1. Stewart to the right of Bazelak. 4 receivers out wide. Fannin in the slot near side. Old Dominion maybe feigning a little pressure. Finn Hogan on an island on the top of the field. Johnson going to move in, bunch near side. Bazelak, shallow drop, firing for Fannin. He's got Fannin at the 5-yard line. Flag flies. Fannin walks into the end zone. We'll see if it stands.
And it looks like they might get Bowling Green on possible holding right there. We'll just have to wait and see what the ref's official word is, but it looks like Bowling Green is indeed walking back as we speak.
Crowd not a fan of the call. Would have been Fannin's 2nd touchdown of the day, but it gets called back. Pass interference called against Jamal Johnson. Crowd, I don't know if you can hear it through my headset, but the crowd not a big fan of that pass interference call, and that'll walk Bowling Green all the way back out of the red zone, back to the 25-yard line.
Not a big fan is definitely another statement too, because had that not happened, that is an easy 6 points for Bowling Green up on the board, and it's what's very, very frustrating about those sort of situations is you think you have a score, you think you're right back in this, and then you have to go all the way back to where the penalty labels you.
2nd and goal from the 25, another flag thrown, and this one looks like it's going to be a false start. False start will be called. And going back to that pass interference call, I wonder, since Fannin was so wide open, I wonder if maybe they got Jamal Johnson on a pick play there, not allowed to do that. I wonder if that was the reasoning there for that one. But a false start going to walk Bowling Green back 5 more yards, now 2nd and goal from the 30-yard line.
Again, this is another frustrating part of the game, is when you're down trying to score, then you keep shooting yourself in the foot with a bunch of penalties. It kills the momentum. It really does.
Johnson now gets the handoff going right side, stopped at the 30-yard line, and drugged backwards is Jamal Johnson. No gain on 2nd down. They'll bring up 3rd and a country mile as we take under 3 minutes to play in quarter number 2. 17-14, Old Dominion hanging on to that 3-point lead over Bowling Green. Going back to pregame, Bowling Green did win the coin toss to start. They deferred to the second half. So Bowling Green with an opportunity to double up if they can kill the next 2 minutes and 37 seconds, give or take. Kick a field goal or score a touchdown, of course, and then you get the ball coming out of the half. Opportunity to score again. Rakeem Smith comes in motion top to bottom. Bazelak looking for that screen to Fannin. Fannin had to jump for it, and he is brought down. Another loss on that screen pass to Harold Fannin. It's going to be 4th and a long way to go. And I think we're going to see the field goal unit come out here.
Yeah, it's just one of those missed opportunities for Bowling Green right there to get yourself in the lead. And while they still have a chance to tie this game right here as the wind kind of picks up right now, will be interesting to see how that plays out as they call timeout.
And the clock runs down to 2 minutes, so we'll go ahead and take that 2-minute timeout just added this year. 17-14, Monarchs on top of the Falcons right here on Falcon Radio. Don't go anywhere.
Women Heart is in a race to save lives. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. It's 80% preventable if you know the facts. Millions of women are living with or at risk of heart disease. Get educated. See your doctor. Know the facts. To win this race, we all have to do it together. Our hearts beat as one. To learn more, visit womenheart.org.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Trace Terry is the junior forward on the BGSU men's soccer team, and he is this week's Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week. After a 2-goal game in Bowling Green's 2-1 road win over Bradley on Friday night, Terry was awarded his first career Missouri Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Week award. The junior striker followed up his 2-goal performance against Bradley with another 2 goals against Eastern Illinois on Tuesday night in their 5-0 win at the Rossford Dome. Terry is second in the Missouri Valley Conference with 8 goals on the year, joining Bennett Painter as one of 2 Falcons in the top 3. The Bellbrook, Ohio native has 14 goals and 7 assists already in his career as a Falcon, totaling 35 career points. This has been Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
They'll challenge your authority because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, and in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Coming out of the 2-minute timeout, Jackson Clather on to attempt a 50-yard field goal. Long on the season and long of his career is just 42 yards. He's 4 of 5 on field goals this year, and he's kicking into the wind here as he kicks into the north end zone here at the Doit. George Carlson to snap, Travis Kenner to hold, Jackson Cleather to kick. Snap back, hold down, kick is up, end over end, and that one just died just short. And that's where that wind comes into play. Bowling Green walks away empty-handed after an offensive pass interference call, takes 6 off the board. Old Dominion takes over at their own 33-yard line with 1:55 to play here in the first half.
Yeah, I'm sure Scott Leffler is definitely going to want to say, I think Scott Leffler definitely wants to wish to forget that drive even happened in the first place. You know, just being so close to the end zone right there and just throw it away by committing stupid penalties is definitely something that, you know, you don't want to have and just easily forgettable at that point.
Got down to the 10-yard line, got into the end zone, and then the OPI brings you back to the 25. False start brings you back to the 30. Then you lose 3 more yards after that. And Cleather, that one, it had the strength on it. Just going into the wind, it died out. Aaron Young gets the handoff going right side, hurdles over a diving Patrick Day, and brought down past the 40-yard line is Aaron Young. Pickup of 8 on first down, brings up 2nd down and 2 now as we've got a $1:42 to play here in the second quarter, first half. There we go. Aaron Young again on the carry. This time he's met as soon as he gets the football. Going backwards is Aaron Young. They'll give him the 41-yard line, so they'll say no gain. 3rd down and 2. It goes without saying, but BG could use a huge stop here. Wilson in the shotgun, going to hand it off again to Young. No, Wilson going to keep it himself this time and just going to go down right at the sticks, causing 2 Falcons to run into each other. Trent Sims was ready to lay the wood down on Grant Wilson, ends up running into Charles Rosser. First down picked up by Old Dominion. That's going to move the chains. 1st and 10, 1:07 to play here in the first half. Comeback routes, that one almost intercepted by Jordan Oladokin. Read that route perfectly. Read the eyes of Grant Wilson just off of his hands. Incomplete.
And that's just a textbook play by, you know, a lot of DBs across the country trying to eye out the ball, just trying to see where the receiver's at. Keep your eyes on the receiver and the ball at the exact same time. Great job.
Oladokin jumped that route perfectly, looking for his first interception of the season. If he hauls that one in, I think he's gone for 6 there. 2nd down and 10. Clark stops with 1:03 after the incompletion. 2 receivers split either side of the formation. Young gets the handoff going left side, runs right into Dontrez Brown and gets brought down after a gain of 1.
Yeah, great job by the defense trying to stay on the Monarchs. You know, you don't want to give them any sort of chance at it, like a last shot at extending the score compared to what it is now. So I feel like Bowling Green will be a lot better if the Monarchs will just have a 3-point lead compared to whatever the case may be. But still, Bowling Green, a lot of work to do.
3rd down and 9 now with 30 seconds to play here in the first half. 17-14, Old Dominion leads. Big 3rd down here for the BG defense. Young going to get the handoff, bounces it outside to the right. Aaron Young picks up the first down, diving forward near the 40-yard line. They'll say he was down just past the 45, though they'll give him the 43. Chains will move, clock stops for the chain gang to reset, and then on the referee's signal it'll go. Wilson throwing far side, incomplete, was looking in the direction of Isaiah Page, just carried a little bit too far out of bounds. Going to bring up 2nd and 10. Old Dominion tried to hurry up there, caught BG's defense sleeping there for a second.
And we also saw number 7, Ja'Cory Benjamin, just kind of slip there. I know that, you know, playing on a turf field myself, it does get a little bit slippery every now and then, so those sort of things just tend to happen.
Especially with the rain we've had over the last couple days. No rain today, at least that I can feel. There's a little humidity in the air, but with the rain that we've seen over the last couple of days, that may factor into that. Bowling Green going to take their final time out of the half. We'll go ahead and keep it here. So, Carter, I must ask you, your Bowling Green's defense, what are you kind of playing for here? There's 13 seconds on the clock, 43 yards to find the end zone for Old Dominion. What are you kind of watching for here?
Well, first things first, you know, the first thing that I'm definitely watching for if I'm Bowling Green's defense is any sort of last shot of trying to extend the lead compared to what it is now. Currently it's 17-14 here, just 13 seconds left. You know, you don't want to give Old Dominion any sort of shot, whether it's running the ball up the field or throwing one last, you know, sort of Hail Mary into the end zone. I mean, they're at Mansfield right now, but you don't want to give Old Dominion any sort of shot of extending the lead currently as of right now, so you got to have to keep very, very close tabs if you're BG's defense as of their current state right now.
And some big news off of that Harold Fannin touchdown from earlier in the first quarter. That touchdown tied BGSU's all-time record for receiving touchdowns by a tight end. So a very historic career, on the verge of breaking a record, and he's already on the verge of breaking several more.
Harold Fanning Jr., definitely a name that we're going to hear a lot more for years to come.
He's definitely going to be playing on Sunday. Second down and 10, gets it away to Page. Page just drops it. That one hit him right in the gut and fell out, going to fall incomplete. 3rd and 10, 9 seconds on the clock now.
One thing that I was taught as a receiver when I played in high school, Reese, is catch with your hands, not with your chest. That's just not great. Not a good job by Isaiah Page paying attention right there. He just looked like he was trying to catch with his chest when it was easily could have been caught with his hands.
3rd down and 10. 4 receivers out wide. Duke going to get the handoff, going right side, going to run right into Ali Saad and be brought down just past the line of scrimmage. And the clock going to be stopped with a couple seconds left. The clock reads 000, but the referee blew his whistle with about 1 or 2 seconds remaining. Old Dominion going to take their second timeout. So now you're Old Dominion. I asked you what you would do if you were Bowling Green. We saw what they did there on 3rd and 10. Now you're 41 yards from the end zone after a pickup of a couple on 3rd down. Are you taking a shot for the end zone, or are you going to try and hit somebody in space and then maybe run off one of those little hook and ladder plays to try and sneak your way into the end zone?
Well, I guess it really just depends on how Bowling Green's defense is set up. You know, whether they're playing man-to-man coverage or they're playing that zone spread defense, as we have mentioned before on this broadcast. So I think it really just depends on how it's set up. But it looks like that Old Dominion is going to go for a field goal attempt right here. So I guess that whole ideology of taking a shot downfield or trying to do the hook and ladder isn't going to happen.
58-yard field goal attempt from Ethan Sanchez. He hit from 53 earlier. Kicking into the wind. 1 second on the clock. Snap back, hold down, kick is up, end over end. Ethan Sanchez way short of that one, and that's going to take us to halftime. Old Dominion clinging on to a 3-point lead over Bowling Green, 17-14. We're going to step aside for a couple minutes. When we come back, we'll have a little bit of a halftime show for you folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
This is the story of Julie Guillot. She's a Leukemia and Lymphoma Society advocate and the mother of a child who battled blood cancer.
Zach was diagnosed with AML, a deadly leukemia, when he was only 5. He died at just 9 years old, really from the treatment that was meant to save him.
Today, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is pioneering breakthrough treatments for kids with cancer. Visit LLS.org and save a child's life.
In Bowling Green football's 41-17 season opening victory over Fordham on August 29th, junior Justin Pace set a program record with a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown on the first play of the game. Falcon Media Sports Network's Reese Patricus had the call on Falcon Radio.
Go back up and field it on the goal line. Trying to take to the right, got some blocks, got a hole. Peg was down the far sideline, and he's got space in front of him. 10, 5, touchdown BG brings back the opening kickoff. What a way to start the season.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but Miss Araceli, she gave me direction.
At age 47, Marco finished his high school diploma.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Over the weekend, Bowling Green junior tight end Harold Fannin Jr. had himself a weekend for the ages. He recorded 8 catches for 145 yards and a touchdown against number 25 Texas A&M, setting a career high in receiving yards. His one touchdown, a 65-yard score on the first play from scrimmage in the second half, was not only his longest career touchdown, but also the longest touchdown allowed by Texas A&M's defense in nearly 2 years. His efforts earned him Mid-American Conference Offensive Player of the Week honors, as well as Week 4 Tight End of the Week honors by the Mackey Award Committee. He currently leads all tight ends in the country in both receptions and receiving yards with 25 and 349 respectively. You can catch Fannin back in action on September 28th as the Falcons welcome Old Dominion to the Doit for homecoming. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
BGSU volleyball battles the Toledo Rockets at Savage Arena for the Battle of I-75 on Tuesday, October 1st. Tune in to Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak and Chaz McNeil for pregame at 5:45 and first serve at 6 p.m. on WBGU 88.1 FM.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they gonna know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
All over America, people are taking the National Radon Test. Have you? Answer true or false. Radon is a radioactive gas. True.
I didn't know that, no.
True or false. The Office of the Surgeon General recommends that all homes be tested for radon. True, your home should be tested. True or false, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer. True.
I'm gonna dial the number and call.
1-800-SOS-RADON.
Keep your family safe from radon. Call now.
1-800-SOS-RADON.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future in a world that's changing fast. Do play and laugh. Do win and lose. Do it all with confidence, kindness, and strength. And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life, what matters to me is that you keep doing. Inspire kids to do at 4h.org.
17-14 the score here at halftime. Old Dominion leading Bowling Green here in Bowling Green on homecoming. Reese Patricus, Carter Leonard, happy to have you folks along here with us for what was a wild, wacky first half that saw a lot of a tug of war between these two sides.
Yeah, definitely. Old Dominion has really surprised me so far to start out this game, because as we mentioned numerous times, Bowling Green was favored going into this game. We thought that it may have been a game where Bowling Green, might have had a little hiccups, but they would eventually pulled away. But it's been the complete opposite of that, as Old Dominion currently has a 3-point lead in the halftime as of right now. And you really have to ask the question of, for Bowling Green, are they missing too many opportunities? Like we just saw before the end of half, when we all thought Harold Fanning Jr. had his second touchdown of the game, it got called back, and then multiple penalties and multiple miscommunication moments happened with Bowling Green. So you have to really try your best to minimize mistakes as soon as you go into the start of the second half.
And we do have confirmation that OPI down there at the end of Bowling Green's last drive on Jamal Johnson was on a pick play. So just something that, one of those little mistakes that you've got to clean up going into half number 2. And now we've seen, especially last week against Texas A&M, normally Bowling Green is a first half dominant team. We saw it against Fordham. They put up tons and tons and tons of points in the first half, then come out in the second half and slow down a little bit. But the last 2 weeks, including this week, last week at Texas A&M and now this week, Bowling Green a little bit slow to open the game as opposed to starting the second half.
Yeah, that's one thing that we have really noticed too, and we touched up a lot about how they're a big first half team, and as you mentioned, it's not been this way so far, and I guess it's a mix of Bowling Green not doing what they need to do assignment wise, and I think that's what's been really killing them. And then you could also play in the fact that the Monarchs have just been giving the Falcons just a ton of problems in this first half. That's something that we did not expect. And one thing I want to point out, Reese, and I've been waiting to talk about this as soon as we got to halftime, is that before the game we talked about how Old Dominion's run defense has been completely horrid to start out the game. From what I've seen, it's been a complete 180 in regards to their run defense, mainly when Terrion Stewart has been given the rock so far. Terrion Stewart, as we mentioned, a little bit banged up, but Old Dominion keeping that run game in check. So one of the things that I've really seen that's been pointed out so far with this Old Dominion Monarch team.
Yeah, like you mentioned, coming into this week, over 215 yards allowed on the ground for Old Dominion. Today, only 55 yards allowed on 18 attempts for Bowling Green. That's good for just under 3.1 yards per carry. And most of those have come from the legs of Jason Patterson. He's got 5 attempts, 36 yards, He's got that 1 touchdown from 17 yards out. Terrion Stewart been a little bit slow here. We were questioning maybe if he's maybe not 100%, but it's been the Jason Patterson show on the ground, and also it's also been a great night through the air for Bowling Green. Connor Bazelak, 15 of 20 passing, 184 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, has not been sacked once, and Harold Fannin Jr., stop me if you've heard this one before, having a fantastic day. 7 catches, 95 yards, had that 1 touchdown. If that other touchdown does not get called back, Fannin breaks the receiving touchdowns by a tight end record and has his 3rd consecutive 100-yard game, which would have been monumental for this team. Of course, if the touchdown stands, it's a 21-17 ball game right now at halftime. Bowling Green gets the ball out of the second half, but that offensive pass interference pick play calls that touchdown back. And here we are, 17-14.
Wait, Reese. I am going to stop you because we have heard that so many numerous times about Harold Fanning Jr. Just once again, like you mentioned, another great game where he's just completely showing out. You mentioned before that he is definitely one of the best prospects in regards to tight ends in the country, if not probably the best college tight end in the country as of right now. And just a lot. What else can really be said about his game right now? But going back to Jason Patterson for a second, unfortunate to really see Terrion Stewart not really be at 100% right now, as we have speculated numerous times throughout this broadcast. But Jason Patterson is just another case of, having that next man up. He's done really, really good in camp, and, we mentioned before, buried in the depth chart a little bit, but once he gets those plays going his way, he's really hard to beat. So I guess you could say both Stewart and Patterson, when fully healthy, can be a really good dynamic duo in that backfield.
Now on the other side, looking at Old Dominion, they have the 3-point lead, 17-14. Grant Wilson, 6 of 13 through the air for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns, including that 75-yarder to Pat Conroy. He's been buried once in the backfield. And on the ground, Aaron Young, 5 attempts, 38 yards, long of 17. And Grant Wilson showing off the wheels a little bit so far in this one. 3 carries, 29 yards, 9.7 yards per carry for Grant Wilson. Aided a little bit by that 30-yard carry on their first drive, but still doing a really good job of keeping BG's defense on their toes when it comes to him. He's normally not a guy who's going to tuck it and run. He doesn't look like the most athletic quarterback you've ever seen, but he made Bowling Green pay for underestimating him. And then through the receiving game, you've got Pat Conroy, 2 catches, 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns tonight. And we're looking forward to a very strong second half showing from both of these squads. It's 17-14 at half. Bowling Green gets the ball following halftime. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hey everybody, Rachel Ray here. Nothing brings a bigger smile to my face than cooking up a big meal for the whole family and lots of friends. But there's not enough room at my table for the 17 million kids in our country who struggle with hunger. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food to give hope to hungry kids. But they can't do it without your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What, did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
You pledged your life to serve. You made sacrifices, lost loved ones. At VA, we don't see the falls you've taken. We see the 1,000 times you've stood back up. We embrace your uniqueness and won't trivialize your hardships. We can't promise to heal all wounds or wash away all trauma, but we do see a path forward. We see all veterans. We see you. Learn how treatment works and recovery is possible. Visit maketheconnection.net.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Actress Allison Sweeney for American Humane.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring and humane world for all of us.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi,
I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You have the right to know. The right to know about culture. The right to know about the economy. The right to know about technology and to know about sports. You have the right to know about education and politics and the weather. You have the right to know what's happening abroad and in your backyard. But above all else, you have the right to know that this right is under attack, and we must work to protect it. Because in order to be free, we must be informed. Understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
In the wake of a disaster, what one thing can you send that will help people the most? A blanket, a tent, a sandbag, a doctor. Actually, if you send a monetary donation, you send all these things. Even a small donation can make a big impact and can quickly become exactly what people affected by disaster need most.
In the wake of a hurricane, your monetary donation can make a huge difference to those in need. To donate, visit supporthurricanerelief.org. That's supporthurricanerelief.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain. And reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives like physical therapy to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist in your area.
The Zig Zone is the only radio show dedicated to all things BGSU athletics, and it hits the airwaves again this Sunday. Join a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network figures as they discuss the hottest BG sports topics on September 29th at 4 p.m. only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Coming out of the halftime break, 17-14 Old Dominion on top of Bowling Green here in Bowling Green at homecoming. After the band played, we crowned a new homecoming king and queen. Congratulations to Will McLean and Kelly Nodal on being the recipients of those very prestigious awards. Obviously, it's pretty big being the homecoming king and queen of an entire university. All right, Carter, I'm going to ask you now. So Bowling Green gets the ball to start the second half. You're Scott Loeffler in that locker room. What adjustments are you making?
First of all, you have to stay on top of the fact that that Bowling Green has had a ton of missed opportunities. So if I'm Scott Loeffler in that locker room, I'm getting on these guys for missing these big opportunities, mainly at the end of the second half, as we had mentioned during the halftime break. You have to make a lot out of these opportunities because you're never probably going to get them again in this game. So you have to stay on top of your assignment. You have to really start running the ball a lot better, you know, despite the fact that Old Dominion has really done a good job stopping the run game and passing assignments. Bowling Green has done a really good job with the run game. Has to get better with both, mainly with Terrion Stewart. Obviously, may not fully be 100%, but got to get the run game a lot going. Got to get it better, is what I'm trying to say.
Now, if you're Old Dominion's defense, your coach Ricky Ronnie in that halftime break, what adjustments are you making on the defensive side of the ball? I'll let you answer here in just a second as Ethan Chang is ready to send us away and get this second half of action underway. Apple slices, orange juice for everyone. And the second half of action here from Deutsch Perry Stadium has begun. It's going to be fielded inside the 20-yard line by who looks to be Ian Drummond, who was kind of somewhere between the Upmen and Justin Peggy. So now I'll turn to you and ask, Old Dominion's defense, what kind of changes are you making?
Well, first of all, their run defense has really done a solid job. So I don't think I'm much. If I'm Ricky Ronnie, I'm not much as concerned about the run defense as I am the pass defense. You know, we've seen Connor Bazelak just completely air the ball out. Mainly the Harold Fannin Jr. and a bunch of other receivers. So got to do a better job with the pass defense if you're Old Dominion.
Terrion Stewart gets the first handoff of the second half. He'll take it about 6 or 7 yards, spinning over Old Dominion defenders. They'll call it a gain of 7. That'll make it 2nd down and 3 now as we begin the third quarter. Not the same start of the second half that Bowling Green had last week against Texas A&M, but certainly not a bad start. Obviously, you would want the 65-yard touchdown, but you'll take a 7-yard gain on 1st down and 10. And a flag gonna fly. And I wonder if this one is gonna be somewhere around delay a game.
Yep.
Rather, it's going to be an illegal substitution, a 12 men on the field penalty against Bowling Green. And right back here we are to shooting yourself in the foot. You had a penalty problem in the first half. You had, well, the stats aren't necessarily showing it. You had a couple penalties in the first half. Now you open up the second half with another penalty, moving backwards now, making it 2nd down and 8. Rakeem Smith comes in motion across the formation. Stewart still the back in the backfield. Fake the handoff. Bazelak deep drop, now stepping up, forced to roll out to his right, throws on the run, looking for Malcolm Johnson Jr., broken up. Great defensive play there from Rashid Reason to knock that ball out of Malcolm Johnson's hands and prevent a 1st down gain. That's going to bring up 3rd and 8 now.
And that's what we talked about after the opening kickoff to start the second half. Old Dominion's pass defense had to get better, and a great job by Rashid Reason to break up that pass because, you know, Bazelak has done, like we said, he's done a really good job airing the ball out to his receivers, so great job by the defender, number 6.
Now Patterson in the backfield, subbing Terrion Stewart out. 3 receivers lined up near side. Harold Fannin lined up in that slot near side. Formation gonna switch. Bazelak gonna throw. Looking Fannin's way, now forced to dance around in the pocket. Throws it on the run, looking for Malcolm Johnson again. That one nowhere near anybody, and he just had to get rid of that one before he got creamed.
Yeah, right there. It looks like Old Dominion did a good job of possibly doing a little bit of double coverage right there. There was 2 defenders on Johnson right there, so great job by Old Dominion, you know, staying on top of the assignment that they really need to adjust on, you know, to start up the second half. And for Bowling Green, you know, just not a good start to the second half, but, you know, can't always judge it based off of one drive alone, so they have time to really adjust as time goes on.
4th down and 8, first punt of the day for John Henderson. He did have a fake punt in the Fordham game that he took for 30 yards, but this one not a fake. He's going to get that one away. Spiraling kick, going to be fielded at the 20-yard line. Isaiah Page with it, wrapped up just shy of the 30-yard line. Isaiah Page, his 3rd punt return attempt of the season, and he'll pick up about 9 there. And that'll take us to immediate timeout. Bowling Green goes 3 and out, thanks in part to a 12 men on the field penalty. Old Dominion will take over. They lead 17-14 here on Falcon Radio.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they going to know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Titans go!
When the Teen Titans go to the movies, they know the best way to travel is safely.
Hollywood, here we come! And you know it's super.
To keep your child safe, be sure to use the right car seat for their age and size.
Exactly.
We're finally on the big screen.
Have a seat, my dude.
For more information on finding the right seat, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Gotcha. That's a wise move.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Sweet Caroline echoing off the bleachers here in Deutsch Perry Stadium. 13:47 remaining here in quarter number 3. Old Dominion with the football on their own 29-yard line, first down and 10. Still a couple more seconds left to go in that media timeout, so we'll go ahead and run you through some of the scores from around the Mid-American Conference. Down in Oxford, Miami, Ohio knotted up with UMass at 20 apiece. That game in overtime. It's definitely a little bit of a scary situation down there in Oxford if you're a Redhawks fan. Up the road in Mount Pleasant, 21-19, San Diego State leads. 28 seconds remaining in that one. Central Michigan on San Diego State's 35-yard line. Down in Marshall, Western Michigan trails by 7 points. That game seemingly over. Down in Athens, Ohio has extended their lead 30-10 over Akron. And out in Kent, Eastern Michigan goes on a 21-6 run to really pull away from the Kent State Golden Flashes. That one 50-27 with just under 7 minutes to play in that one. Man motions into the backfield. Grant Wilson going to hand it off. That's Page. No, he'll keep it himself. Up past the 30-yard line goes Grant Wilson. They'll say he's down at about the 32.5-yard line. Gain of 3.5 on first down will bring up second down and 7.
Looked like Wilson took a little bit of a shot right there, but once again, glad to see that he's up and ready to fight another play.
2 backs in the backfield for the Monarchs. 3 receivers wide. BG showing a little bit of pressure. Now the rushing man will back off a little bit. Pressure in the face of Wilson. He heaves it downfield. Incomplete. He was looking for Deontay Vines. That one just out of his reach. Miles Alston was the one on the receiving end of that incompletion.
Yeah, good job by number 60 on the BG defense. Dontrez Brown bringing that pressure off what looked to be off the edge or right around the edge, forcing Grant Wilson to throw that ball. So great job for the defensive line for the Falcons.
Dontrez Brown having a quiet but impactful season. One of those breakout stars of the 2023 season. Statistically hasn't done a whole lot, but you can certainly feel his presence down on the field. Wilson to throw on third down. Ali Saad's coming from behind him. Down goes Wilson. Ali Saad with sack number 2 on the season, and Old Dominion's going to be forced to punt.
Amazing job by Ali Saad coming off the edge right then and there. Just wow. What can you really say about that play? Just great job by the defensive line once again, giving them their flowers once again. So this was very huge for the Falcons, forcing them, on that third down, just trying to get the momentum back on their side.
High snap, almost getting home to block the punt was a BG up defender. Peggy's able to field it past the 30-yard line, get out of bounds around the 40. Another great punt from Seamus Hall. Hard to see who the BG defender was that almost got there to block that, but another punt almost added to BG's resume so far this season.
Special teams is just as important as the offense and defense, kids. Remember that if you're playing football.
Bowling Green with one of the best special teams unit in the country since 2021. Towards the top of all of FBS in blocked punts. They had one last week against Texas A&M. Now they take over at their own 41-yard line, 12:30 to play here in quarter number 3. They trail by 3. Terrion Stewart the back, play action his way. Bazelak loading up. Now he'll just dump it off to Levi Gazarek at the line of scrimmage, and he'll get dumped for a loss of 1. Looked like he was loading up to take a shot downfield there. Didn't like what he saw. Gave it up into the flat to Levi Gazarek, and Levi Gazarek brought down in the backfield for a loss of 1. Second down and 11 from the 40-yard line now, 12:04 and ticking. 3 receivers lined up on that near side of the field. Patterson in the backfield now for Stewart. Late substitution for Old Dominion. And I was going to say not sure why you don't snap the ball there, but the referee was preventing that from happening. Bazelak to throw again. Looking near side for Harold Fannin Jr. Leaping grab. He comes down with it still on his feet as Harold Fannin. Down the near sideline. Harold Fannin in for a touchdown. Harold Fannin for 59 yards, his second touchdown of the day, and now he's over 100 yards receiving.
And one other thing about that play that I want to point out is number one, Malcolm Johnson, what a great job blocking up front to give Harold Fannin Jr. that space, and just only had one man to beat, and luckily for Fannin, Johnson was on him, and Fannin was off to the races. So really good job by Malcolm Johnson providing the alleyway for Fannin Jr. to put 6 up on the board for the Falcons.
Jackson Cleathler on to attempt the extra point with that touchdown. Harold Fannin now the all-time leader in tight end receiving touchdowns. And for the third week in a row, Harold Fannin sets a new career high in receiving yards. He's up to 154 yards on 8 catches tonight, 19.3 yards per carry. 21-17, Bowling Green retakes the lead, 11:34 left to go in the third quarter. We're going to step aside. You're listening to Falcon Football right here on Falcon Radio.
NHL star Matt Martin for American Humane.
I've had my fair share of bruises and injuries, but for many who put their lives on the line every day, it's not always the injuries you can see that hurt the most. Every single day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. When medications and therapy don't help, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane has created a free guide to help veterans obtain these life-saving animals. For help, please go to americanhumane.org.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
BGSU women's soccer travels to Yager Stadium to take on the Miami, Ohio Redhawks for the 4th game of their MAC schedule on Sunday, September 29th with kickoff at 1 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network will have the preview and recap available on bgfalconmedia.com.
T-shirt toss time here at Deutsch Perry Stadium. Bowling Green now back on top, 21-17, thanks to a beautiful 59-yard touchdown run and catch, or I guess catch and run from Harold Fannin Jr. For the 3rd game in a row, Harold Fannin has a new career high in receiving yards. He's got 8 catches for 154 yards and now 2 touchdowns, breaking his record set just 7 days ago of 145. And there's still 11:34 left to go in the third quarter, so plenty of time to tack onto that. And I don't know about you, Carter, but I think there's a possibility for 200 here.
It's definitely looking that way. I mean, Harold Fannin Jr. just each and every time that we see him, go out on the field, he's just a playmaker, and I think 200 is definitely in reach.
Zach Long on and ready again to kick it away following the Harold Fannin Jr. touchdown.
And another thing I do want to point out is, Old Dominion's pass defense is still struggling, because that was once again another instance where they get beat down the field when Connor Baselak has to throw deep. So once again, adjustments still have to be made for that Monarch defense.
Long's kick goes way out of the back of the end zone, doesn't even land in the field of play. And the Monarchs will take over at their own 25-yard line, down 4 once more.
Interested to see if Bowling Green could keep up that defensive momentum that they had on that last drive when Old Dominion's offense was out on the field. They did a really great job bringing pressure off the edge, so hope to see more of that.
Man comes in motion across the formation. New quarterback in the game for Old Dominion. He'll get it out to that man in the flat. That was Demarion Houston. New quarterback in the game is Colton Joseph. And Houston dropped for a loss of 5.
Once again, Bringing that pressure is just the name of the game for this BGSU defense. And the guy who made the tackle, number 6, C.J. Brown, way to come up and make that tackle and make sure that it did not go any further than it needed to be. So, once again, great job from the safety side of things.
Colton Joseph still in at quarterback. He'll motion Houston into the backfield. 2 backs back there now. They run into each other, and Joseph goes down. Dropped in the backfield by Joseph Sept Jr. He slipped, and Sept came in to clean it up.
Joseph Sept Jr., another guy that we talk about on the defensive front, currently leads the team in sacks. Just added another one to his tally. Great job from the defensive side of things once again. And just the linebacker core that Bowling Green has so far has done a tremendous job. And that's just a product of the linebackers here.
And you can tell that Bowling Green knows that there's a new quarterback in the game for Old Dominion. They're making him pay. 3rd down, 19. Slings it on a screen, far side. That's Houston. Houston hit, still on his feet, and now he'll finally go down.
Tackled by number 9, Darius Lorfills. Once again, great drive from the Bowling Green defense, just making sure that the Monarchs do not try to get back into this game, and which they never really lost. You know, they weren't really out of this game to begin with, but the momentum is definitely now in Bowling Green's favor as the second half has begun. I think Scott Leffler has done a really good job adjusting things as we have seen so far.
Late substitution for Bowling Green. Darius McClendon checks in last second. Almost getting there is Charles Rosser, but Hall gets the punt away. Running backwards is Peggy's ball, going to bounce at the 30-yard line and take a nice Old Dominion roll and be downed around the 16-yard line of Bowling Green. And we mentioned earlier, after Fannin caught that long touchdown, there's a possibility he can go for 200 yards. The single-game receiving yard record here at Bowling Green, 278 yards, set by Freddie Barnes back in 2009. So he would need 120 more yards to break that. But with the way that he's played and the way that he's been able to get open and break tackles in the open field, it's certainly doable. If he just gets 200 yards, he's already in the top 10 for receiving yards all time. Roger Lewis holds the bottom mark at 200, set against Maryland back in 2015. Patterson, the back, he'll get the handoff, trying to make something happen going up the left side. He's picked up and thrown backwards by the Old Dominion defensive front, but he'll still pick up about 2 there on 1st down.
With Harold Fanning Jr., anything's possible, Reese. Anything is possible with this kid. He's just done. What more can we say besides he's just a freak. Just a freak.
2nd down and 8 now from the 28-yard line. Under 9 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. Monarchs showing pressure. Flips the pass to Rakeem Smith. Rakeem Smith trying to find an edge. He'll be brought down around the line of scrimmage. They love getting Rakeem Smith in motion and finding him ways to get the ball when he has momentum, but that time Old Dominion's defense just able to chase him down, bring him down. No gain on 2nd down.
Yeah, Rakeem Smith is definitely a speedster, and he's definitely made for those types of plays right there. But Old Dominion just said, no, my friend. We're going to keep close tabs on you, and you're not going to go any further. So good job for the Monarchs defense.
Another big 3rd down here for Bowling Green. 3rd and 8 as we're under 8.5 to play in the 3rd quarter from their own 28-yard line. Malcolm Johnson going to motion into the slot near side. Fannin alone on the top of the field. Bazelak, deep drop, looking over the middle of the field. Can't find anybody all day to throw. Connor Bazelak, now finally someone gets in there. Bazelak all day running around. He lost the football. Old Dominion, no, still on the ground. Finally jumped on top by a BGSU offensive lineman. That could have been horrendous for Bowling Green.
Man, it's just those types of things that you cannot let happen, though. BG was able to recover right there, and Bazelak having all day to throw, but you have to really commend Old Dominion for keeping coverage on their receivers. You know, Bazelak, despite having all day to throw, didn't really have anywhere to go. So, you know, great job by the Old Dominion defense, but the Bowling Green offense can't make those types of mistakes happen. So, very scary moment for the offense.
Loss of 15 yards, and now John Henderson will be punting from his own end zone. Standing at his own 36-yard line is Isaiah Page. Henderson with pressure gets it away. He falls to the ground. Flag is going to be thrown. That one's going to go against Old Dominion for sure as Page is wrapped up past the 50-yard line, and I wonder if it's roughing the kicker, it'll be an automatic first down for a personal foul. If it's just running into the kicker, it'll be a couple yards. Moved a couple yards forward, and Bowling Green will try it again.
You definitely want that first option if you're the Falcons because, offensive drive didn't go the way it needed to. You want to get another chance at it to try to pull away and put this game away, but we'll see what the
So they are going to hit Old Dominion with running into the kicker. Will remain fourth down, but Henderson will have the opportunity to punt again, this time not from inside his own end zone.
Yeah, it's good to have a little bit more space that's away from your own end zone, to make sure that Old Dominion does not really get good field position, but they're still in a good spot right now, but just a few more yards upfield for Bowling Green.
5-yard penalty makes it fourth down and 18. Henderson now to punt from his own 4-yard line. Snap back to Henderson, gets the punt away, almost run into again. Going to be fielded inside the 35-yard line by Page. Coverage team there immediately, and Isaiah Page is wrapped down almost as soon as he caught the football.
That's the things you love to see on special teams, just those hot pursuit moments, just making sure that return man does not get any farther than he needs to be. Great job by the special teams for the Falcons.
Charles Rosser having himself a fantastic day, both on defense and now on special teams. Old Dominion takes over on their own 33-yard line, and we come back 21-17, BG on top. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
All right, Falcon fans.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career that I could be proud of.
At DAV, we're on a mission, helping veterans of all generations get the benefits they've earned.
I'm Cece. My victory was finishing my education.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
My name is Hunter Hayes. I know myself, and I know my buzzed warning signs. One shot is about knowing my limits, or not necessarily knowing my limits.
I start with one shot to have a good time.
One of the signs that I'm starting to feel a little buzzed is when I start solving not only my own problems, but the entire world's problems. When I know I'm going out, I know I'm gonna start with calling for a ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Dad, guess what?
What?
You are going to be a grandfather.
That's great. Not too long ago, moments like this with my daughter would have been a challenge. It was a long road for me to find myself again after Vietnam. It was my neighbor Jim, another Vietnam veteran, who finally convinced me that I could still connect with my family and find that fulfilling life I'd lost. And I went for help down at the VA. If I can take that first step after almost 50 years, I know other veterans can too. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Coming out of the break, 21-17, Bowling Green on top of Old Dominion. Old Dominion with the football on their own 33-yard line. There's 6:59 left to play here in the third quarter. Reese Patricus, Carter Leonard, happy to have you folks along here with us. Bowling Green finally back on top after they trailed for quite a bit thanks to Harold Fannon's heroics. Now the career receiving touchdown leader by a tight end in BGSU history. And also now the third game in a row that Harold Fannin Jr. has set his own PR in receiving yards, now with 154 with just under 22 minutes to play. Handoff goes to Aaron Young. He's wrapped up in the backfield, back near the 30-yard line, but forward progress is going to give him just a half yard behind the line of scrimmage.
Looked like a bit of a missed blocking assignment right there on the either the right guard or right tackle right there. So just those missteps for Old Dominion that might cost them. So
Colton Joseph still in the game at quarterback. I see Grant Wilson right now on the sideline with no helmet on, no helmet even in his hands. As another man motions into the backfield, Young going to get the handoff, gets his helmet ripped off, dives forwards. Doesn't look like a flag is thrown, so no face mask. That's good for Bowling Green. Usually in that situation, the face mask gets grabbed, and that's how it gets ripped off. But, excuse me, that was Roche in there on the carry, not Aaron Young.
Yeah, you definitely want to be careful not to step into that face mask boundary because face mask penalties will kill a lot of momentum.
Big third down and 9 with 6 to play here in the third. Up to the 34-yard line. Joseph to throw, pump fakes, fires at the sticks. He's got Isaiah Page, first down, Old Dominion.
Great job by Colton Joseph just trying to stay calm after going into the game after, well, we don't know what happened necessarily to Grant Wilson. We assume that it's something injury-related, but Colton Joseph staying cool and calm behind the pocket after a little bit of a rocky start, but getting to the leading receiver on the team for Old Dominion. Great job by number 2.
Page now 3 catches for 38 yards on the night. First down and 10 from the 45-yard line, under 5.5 to play. Page will motion into the backfield. Joseph tried to get it to Page in the flat. Gonna fall incomplete. Throwing on the run across his body. Not usually a recipe for success, especially when you've got men in orange right there in your face.
Yeah, and you saw Colton Joseph after the play kind of pat on his chest saying, hey, that one was on me. So just those little mistakes, but they could be big mistakes if you don't get the momentum swinging your way.
Second down and 10 from their own 45-yard line. Joseph in the shotgun. Dumps it off. Deontay Vines in the flat. Stutter stepping, driven to the ground by Ja'Cory Benjamin. No gain on second down, brings up 3rd and 10. Now you can hear the chimes going off in the background. Big third down here for BG's defense. You get a stop here. That last drive didn't go your way, but now you have the opportunity to get out with an even bigger lead if you're able to get them off the field and score.
100%, 100%. And shout out to Bowling Green secondary for making sure that the Monarchs don't get any funny ideas.
Trip split out far side, play action to Young. Rosser in the backfield, and Joseph takes off. With a lot of grass in front of him, Colton Joseph finally tripped up past Bowling Green's 30-yard line, picks up the first down by a mile. That's going to move the chains. Darius Lorfill's in on the tackle. 4:27 and counting left to go here in the third. Old Dominion running the hurry up. 2 receivers split near side. Isaiah Page in the slot. Young going to get the handoff, trying to go up the middle. Swarm of Falcons there to stop him from getting any further than the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, on the big Colton Joseph run, that's just something you can't let happen. There was absolutely 0 defenders on the right side of the field.
Play action to Young. Joseph Sept coming in hot. Joseph, down he goes. 4 BG Falcons in the area to bury Joseph in the backfield.
Great job by the defense, making sure Joseph doesn't go for another big run again. You know, number 5 for Bowling Green, that being
they'll say he got back to the line of scrimmage on the sack. Anthony Hawkins in there to bring him down, or rather a loss of 3. 3rd down and 13. Joseph drops back to throw. Pressure coming, forced to step up in the pocket, gets rid of it just in time. Football's out. Bowling Green's on top of it. Trent Sims with the fumble recovery after it was punched out by one of Bowling Green's defensive backs.
That's just not great ball security on the Monarchs' part. One thing.
And they're going to say that the pass is incomplete instead, in a cacophony of boos coming from the Falcon faithful, and I understand their reasoning. It looked like he had 2 steps, looked like he made a football move, and then the ball popped out. But the play ruled incomplete, no fumble recovery, and now on to punt is Seamus Hall.
Yeah, it's just been one of the trickiest things about modern day football is, what's a football move? What's this? What's that? Just a lot of confusion tends to happen during some games these days, and that's just being one of them. It looked like a fumble was made by the defense and just did not go Bowling Green's way the way they needed to, but they did indeed force a punt.
Hall with a sky-high punt on a short field, going to bounce out of bounds in Bowling Green's favor, right around the 20-yard line. That's where they'll take over here in just a moment. 3:12 on the clock. It'll be first down and 10. Falcons, they lead 21-17. They take over at their own 16-yard line, trying to put another touchdown on the board, trying to extend this lead, maybe put this game away if you can. There's still plenty of time. I guess I shouldn't say put this game away, but another touchdown here would certainly go miles. Peggy's the running back in the backfield to the left of Bazelak. Play action to Peggy's, firing for Malcolm Johnson, got him around the 30-yard line. That'll move the sticks for Bowling Green.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Reese, talking about extending the lead of this game. That's definitely been important. 4-point lead for Bowling Green, that is definitely not a comfortable place to be at. But I'm sure if they are able to add 6 more points on this drive, then they would probably be in a little bit more of a comfortable spot.
Pickup of 13 moves the sticks up to the 29-yard line. Fannin goes in motion, will settle in the slot far side. Bazelak looking that way, gonna fire. He's got Fannin in the flat. Fannin past the 40-yard line, gets out of bounds. Right at the 40-yard line is where they'll spot him. Another 10 yards for Bowling Green. Another Bowling Green first down up to the 40-yard line with under 2.5 to play in quarter number 3. 21-17, Bowling Green leads, trying to make it 28-17.
As you keep moving those chains, that momentum really starts to build, so you might as well take advantage of that if you're the Falcons right here.
Fannin up to 9 catches, 165 yards on the day. He's in motion. He'll settle by himself on the near side. Bazelak looks for Fannin, got him sitting down in a zone. Hit still on his feet, trying to get out of defenders' tackles. It took 3 Monarchs to bring down Harold Fannin Jr., and that'll go as a gain of 5.
Again, 6'4", 230 pounds, just such a big player to bring down, and just it's very hard. So,
and the important thing is with Fannin, it's something that you learn when you're learning how to block as an offensive lineman. And Fannin, I don't know if there's any offensive line experience, but my offensive line coach has always told me to keep your feet moving to really prevent getting pushed backwards. And Fannin's so good at keeping his feet moving when he's wrapped up. Bazelak to throw on first down, as all day. Now he's going to get dropped in the backfield.
Great job by the Monarchs coverage right there. Despite the fact that Bazelak really had all day to throw, there was really nobody open, so you got to really commend the Monarchs secondary right there, as we've been talking about this game, how they've been not really been doing a great job, so kudos to them.
Koa now Tala in there on the sack, going to make it 3rd down and 11. Was 2nd down and 3, so a loss of 8 there as we're under a minute to play here in the 3rd. Backed up to the 39-yard line is Bowling Green. Still coming out in the shotgun. 3 receivers lined up. Far side of the field. Gazaric on an island near side. Right off the right hip of Alex Wolschlager. Old Dominion will bring 4. Patterson gets the handoff going right side. Trying to pick up those extra yards with a defender on his back. He'll get past the 45-yard line. They'll spot him down right there at the 45-yard line. Instead, it'll be 4th down and 5. And that should take us to the end of the 3rd quarter of action here. The offense trots off the field. 21-17 the score here as we enter the final quarter of regulation here from Deutt L. Perry Stadium. 21-17 one more time. BGSU on top of Old Dominion. We'll be right back after these messages.
I'm a wife.
A sister.
And a grandfather.
I'm an office clerk.
I'm a research analyst.
Dance fitness instructor.
Actor.
I'm a copywriter.
I'm a veteran.
I have lupus.
Cerebral palsy.
I'm blind.
And I'm working in a job I love.
I love.
Because I was given a chance.
To contribute my skills and talents.
To show that my disability is only one part of who I am.
Who I am.
Who I am.
At work, it's what people can do that matters.
For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
People join Walk MS to raise awareness and funds that change the world for everyone affected by multiple sclerosis. Walk MS brings communities together, creating teams with friends, loved ones, and coworkers to rally around those we care about and end MS forever. Together, we can change the world for people with MS. Register today at walkms.org.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon test and keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green.
Making it green is making sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Testing for radon is easy. Just call 866-730-GREEN.
Make it green, green, green.
A message from the U.S. EPA.
You pledged your life to serve. You made sacrifices, lost loved ones. At VA, we don't see the falls you've taken. We see the 1,000 times you've stood back up. We embrace your uniqueness and won't trivialize your hardships. We can't promise to heal all wounds or wash away all trauma, but we do see a path forward. We see all veterans. We see you. Learn how treatment works and recovery is possible. Visit maketheconnection.net.
BGSU Women's Golf travels to Iowa City to partake in the Diane Thompson Invitational on September 30th through October 1st. Falcon Media Sports Network has got you covered with the recap exclusively at bgfalconmedia.com.
21-17 the score here. Bowling Green going to be faced with a 4th down and 5 coming out of the third quarter break. 15 fresh minutes on the clock. The final 15 minutes of regulation here at the Doit. John Henderson on to punt it away for Bowling Green. And Carter, I think we're at the point now with Harold Fannin where I don't think we're on Mackey Award watch. I think we might be on Heisman Award watch for Harold Fannin Jr. Over now 500 yards on the season, only week 5.
Yeah, this game in particular has definitely gotten a lot of people's attention, and rightfully so, too. I mean, Harold Fannin just, once again, another phenomenal job we've said numerous times on the broadcast, and we're going to keep saying that throughout the rest of the year.
10 for 172 and 2 touchdowns for number 0 as Henderson gets this punt away into the dark sky, taking a nice Bowling Green roll, going to be down inside the 10-yard line. Watching it die and finally downing it is George Carlson, the long snapper. And Old Dominion will take over at their own 7-yard line. 14:46 on the clock as the Monarchs offense takes the field once more. Colton Joseph still in at quarterback. No sign of Grant Wilson.
Currently see Wilson on the sideline right now with a towel wrapped around his neck, still without a helmet on his head or his hands. So still curious to know why exactly Wilson is out of the game, but I guess we'll know at a later time.
Nonetheless, it's Colton Joseph's offense as he hands the ball off to Bryce Duke going left side, and he's met by a flock of Falcons right around the line of scrimmage. No gain on first down. That's going to bring up 2nd and 10.
Falcon fans around the stadium right now are definitely on their feet right now. They know what's on the line here tonight, a win to make them 2-2. Homecoming week, ladies and gentlemen. Homecoming night, I should say. So the energy is definitely wrapping up as we get further and further into the late stages of the game.
Lights here at the Doit shining bright down on the field. Joseph pressured out to the left. He's being chased down. He'll get pushed out of bounds around the 10-yard line, and a flag flies into the backfield.
I wonder if there was a possible holding on Old Dominion. It looks to be that way as some of the linemen have gathered around. That will be the case.
Holding on what looks like the center, Michael Flores. And Charles Rosser was the BG defender in hot pursuit of Colton Joseph, having himself a fantastic night both on defense and on special teams. Rosser now, he has one tackle and 1 sack, almost got himself another one there as Old Dominion backed up to their own 4-yard line. Half the distance to the goal penalty makes it 2nd down and 14. From his own end zone, Colton Joseph brings a man in motion. That's Page. He'll settle in the backfield to the left of Joseph. Page gets the handoff. No, Joseph keeps it himself. Going up the middle, he'll pick up a couple yards. Almost wrapped up in the backfield. Able to slip out of a tackle at the last second. Pick up another couple yards, but that'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
And we have a player down on the field right now. Looks to be a Monarch.
Looks to be a Monarch offensive line. Can't see a number, but he's rolling around, and he certainly looks like he's in pain. Hopefully he's all right. We're going to step aside for an injury timeout. 21-17. When we come back, it'll be 3rd down and 10, Monarch football. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission to have more people sign up as organ, eye, and tissue donors. What drives her? Roxanne received a heart transplant made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day to devote myself to signing up the most people in the United States. That's my goal.
Now she's a powerful force for good. What could you make possible as an organ, eye, and tissue donor? Leave behind the gift of life. Go to organdonor.gov. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Actress Allison Sweeney for American Humane.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring and humane world for all of us.
Everybody buckle up. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Coming out of the injury timeout, the injured Monarch was starting right tackle Santana Sanders. He'll have to sit out at least one play, and that'll open the door for Stephon Dubose-Bourne to step in. Listed at 6'5", 314 from Chesapeake, Virginia. It'll be a new man protecting the front side of Colton Joseph. 21-17, Falcons lead. It's 3rd down and 10 from the 7-yard line. Is the helmet shuffle going on the board? Congratulations, he is going through. Whoever it is, I didn't hear a name, who's down there on the field participating, walking away with a Wendy's gift card. Play action. Joseph firing down the middle of the field. A little bit strong. Picked off.
Darius Lorfills with the interception and actually came up a little bit.
Looked like he had it. Fell out of his hands as he hit the ground, and Lorfills is a little gimpy hobbling to the sideline. That'll be 4th down and 10. Seamus Hall on to punt from the back line of his own end zone.
Yeah, it looked like Lorfills was kind of holding on to his left thigh right there as he was hobbling off the field. So all best wishes to him and hope everything's all right for him.
Lorfills his first pass breakup of the afternoon. Almost getting home again is the Bowling Green punt return unit. Peggy's going to field it in Old Dominion territory, wrapped up and brought down past the 45-yard line. That's where Bowling Green will take over. 13:05 on the clock here in the fourth quarter, starting at their own 43-yard line come the Falcons. They lead 21-17 with a short field, trying to add on to this lead, try and make it an 11-point game.
Kind of curious to see if, Coach Scott Leffler is kind of growing a little bit impatient on the sideline right now as he paces back and forth, because Bowling Green has had a few opportunities to really extend this lead, but nothing comes out of it.
Bazelak pump fakes, now forced to step up, and he's going to take it and run. Flag flies in the backfield, and thrown out of bounds is Connor Bazelak. No flag thrown there. Looked like maybe a little bit of a late spin out, and I think this is going to be holding against Bowling Green. And that Bowling Green offense already marching back. Holding going to be called against Alex Wolschlager, the right tackle. That'll move Bowling Green back 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Definitely don't want to start out this quarter when everything's on the line. You want to try your best to put the game away, but the last thing you want to do is commit any unwanted penalties, and that right there is just one of those instances of those penalties that you cannot commit.
It'll stay first down, march back to the 46-yard line. It'll be first down and 20. Two receivers split either side of the formation. Rakeem Smith will come in motion. Bazelak to throw. Deep drop. Now he'll step up in the pocket. Fires over the middle field. That one intercepted. Down the far sideline and jumping over a BG attempted tackler. Still on his feet. Wrapped up and brought down right in front of the 20-yard line. Jerron Manning, his third interception of the season, sets up Old Dominion in prime real estate, knocking on the red zone.
Yeah, great job by Jerron Manning right there, able to get in front of the receiver. That's just textbook plays on the secondary side of the field, especially for corners. So, not the worst throw in the world Bazelak could have thrown, but just not a great decision. And John Manning, just great job from him. So, again, those mistakes is going to put you in very, very bad position, especially a pick on your own side of the field. So the Monarchs are really set up great right here.
First interception of the night, fourth interception of the season for Connor Bazelak. Now 5 touchdowns to 4 picks on the season. Colton Joseph back on to lead his boys, trying to retake the lead. 21-17, they take over on BG's 21-yard line. There's 12:39 left to go here in quarter number 4. Joseph in the shotgun, 2 receivers either side of the formation. Aaron Young in the backfield to his left. Young will get the handoff, bouncing out to the right now, will cut it back inside. Sheds a tackle, still on his feet, finally brought down. Charles Rosser in there to wrap him up.
Getting a little bit chippy out there. We saw one of the defenders, number 15, that being Avi McGarry, kind of pushing and shoving a little bit, so the intensity is definitely ramping up as we speak.
Run for 7 yards brings up second down and 3. Clock still running now up to the 14-yard line. This would be prime time for a Bowling Green turnover. That defense led the country in turnovers last season. Is Colton Joseph going to take it himself? Shedding tacklers, Colton Joseph with an edge, in for a touchdown. Old Dominion retakes the lead on a 14-yard rushing touchdown from the backup Colton Joseph.
Way to make a statement from the young QB Colton Joseph, able to get a rushing touchdown to put Old Dominion back out front. Tough break for the Bowling Green defense, as not necessarily they did anything wrong, but going back to the previous offensive drive, that Connor Bazelak pick that he threw to Johan Manning is what basically set Old Dominion up in prime position. And now Old Dominion, for the first time since the first half, have the lead once again.
23-21, pending the extra point from Ethan Sanchez. Perfect so far tonight. Snap back, hold down, kick up. Kick is no good. 23-21 the score as we head into a TV timeout. Bowling Green will take back over following the kick out of this break. We'll be right back here on Falcon Radio.
Hi, I'm Arielle Winter. If you're anything like me, your pets are not only your best friends, they're part of your family. American Humane, which has been rescuing animals like Cleo here for more than 100 years, has life-saving tips that can make a big difference in a disaster. When disaster strikes, you want to protect your whole family, including your pets. To help keep your family safe and help our best friends in their worst times, find tips at AmericanHumane.org.
Remember the 60s? That's when the U.S. Surgeon General warned us that cigarette smoking causes lung cancer. Well, music's changed, and now there's another warning from the U.S. Surgeon General. Radon causes lung cancer. Radon is an invisible gas that seeps into your home, and it can cause lung cancer whether you smoke or not. The only way to know if radon is in your home is to have it tested. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. That's 1-800-SOS-RADON. Because radon problems can be fixed. Brought to you by this station and the U.S. EPA.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain. And reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives like physical therapy to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist in your area.
This season, Falcon Media Sports Network is partnering with WBGU PBS. We will bring you broadcasts of home matches for BGSU men's and women's soccer featuring FMSN's Lucas Kleinmeyer and Henry Costco. Head over to the WBGU PBS YouTube channel to listen in.
Falcons on the big board singing along to Katy Perry's Firework. It is a firework night here following the conclusion of tonight's game here at the Doit. 11:57 on the clock following the Old Dominion touchdown, 14-yard touchdown run from Colton Joseph. Had to come in relief for Grant Wilson, who left with an injury that has not been disclosed to us, has not been seen since the first half. Peggies and Patterson back inside the 5-yard line for Bowling Green, ready to receive this kick off the right leg of Ethan Chang.
Still a lot of time left in this fourth quarter for the Falcons to take back the league and hopefully make sure to put the game away this time.
Chang gives it the old right leg. That one going to travel out the back of the end zone and land into the tent sitting behind the south side end zone. 11:57 on the clock. BG takes over at their own 25-yard line, trying to take this lead back over. They trail by 2. 23-21, following the missed extra point from Ethan Sanchez after the Colton Joseph touchdown run. Terrion Stewart back in the game as the running back. 3 receivers lined up wide. Stewart will get the handoff, going right side, now cutting back up the left side, tackled from behind at the 35-yard line. We'll spot him a yard shy of the line to gain. Needed the 35, he got the 34. And that'll bring up second down in a very short one.
Another great job by the Bowling Green offense. Just the run blocking up front has done very, very well tonight. Not necessarily on the Terry and Stewart side of things, but Jameyer, it's a different story.
Stewart again on the carry, going up the middle, hit hard as soon as he broke through the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up the first down, though. 1st and 10, Bowling Green. 11:15 to go here in the fourth quarter, up to the 38-yard line of Bowling Green. Now would be the perfect time to get Terrion Stewart back rolling again. This is when you need that running game to be strong. Chew off as much time as you can because Old Dominion's offense is driven up and down the field on you.
Yeah.
Stewart again with the carry, wide open hole. Cuts it up left side, sheds a couple of tackles, spinning still on his feet down at the 45-yard line of Old Dominion. First down carry for Terrion Stewart down to the 45-yard line into enemy territory. 10:40 to play here in the fourth. 23-21, Old Dominion trying to hold on to a lead, and there is a Monarch down on the field.
Looks like one of the edge rushers there. Can't really get an identification on him right now as he is facing upward and his numbers kind of covered right now, so we will stand by to see.
I will say, right after Stewart got tackled, Jalil Colbreth was down on the field for a second, but he got back up ran over. I wonder maybe if this is him. I don't see a 34 in the huddle, but nonetheless, we won't speculate. We're going to step aside for an injury timeout. 23-21. It'll be first down and 10. BG from the Old Dominion 45-yard line when we come back.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
What could you make possible as an organ, eye, and tissue donor? Leave behind the gift of life. Go to organdonor.gov, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, Rachel Ray here. Nothing brings a bigger smile to my face than cooking up a big meal for the whole family and lots of friends. But there's not enough room at my table for the 17 million kids in our country who struggle with hunger. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food to give hope to hungry kids. But they can't do it without your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
BGSU volleyball battles the Toledo Rockets at Savage Arena for the Battle of I-75 on Tuesday, October 1st. Tune in to Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak and Chaz McNeil for pregame at 5:45 and first serve at 6 p.m. on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Last 10:35 in regulation on the clock. BG's got it first and 10 on the 45-yard line of Old Dominion. Monarchs lead 23-21 here on homecoming night in Bowling Green. Reese Patricus, Carter Leonard, happy to have you folks along here with us. The Coke player of the game announced on the big board. Who else would it be other than Harold Fannin Jr. With 10:30 to play here in the fourth. He's got 10 catches, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As Terrion Stewart stood up at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to run for number 4, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Again, I've just really been impressed with the turnaround of the run defense that Old Dominion has had. You know, just who knows, maybe turn that bye week a flip, just switch, and they have done everything to keep Terrion Stewart in check here tonight.
Mass substitution for Bowling Green. Stewart checks out, Peggy's checks in. He's to the right of Connor Bazelak in the backfield. Harold Fannin Jr. alone on the far side of the field. Bazelak looking left, he'll dump it off to Peggy's in the flat. Peggy's tries to slip a tackle at the 40-yard line. He'll get out of bounds just past that. They'll give him, we'll say, the 39.5. Deeper into Old Dominion territory go the Falcons. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Definitely a big 3rd down if you're Bowling Green right here, because you're in prime position to try to get 6 up on the board right here. Still got a little bit of ways to go before you get into the end zone, but this, again, still a very, very big 3rd down.
Would be a 57-yard field goal here, kicking into the wind. Jackson Cleather's already missed one from about the same distance in the same spot, kicking in the same direction, and a timeout going to be called by Bowling Green. That's their first timeout of the second half, the first timeout called overall in this second half. And it'll be just a 30-second timeout, so we'll go ahead and keep it here. Carter, you mentioned it, big 3rd down here. What are you drawing up over there in that timeout?
Well, if Old Dominion is really keeping the running game in check right here, I would try to go possibly to one of your receivers or try to get Harold Fannin in the game right here and try to get him the ball right there. But, you know, so far in the second half, Old Dominion's pass defense has gotten a little bit better. I mean, Bazelak isn't airing out the ball the way he needs to. They've been keeping good coverage on their receivers and tight ends. So it's kind of an odd balance of what you should do right here if you're Bowling Green, but I will continue doing the pass game because while the run defense has been good for Old Dominion, it's still kind of shaky on the pass defense.
a fun stat to point out. So Connor Bazelak is 21 of 29 so far tonight. Harold Fannin has 10 of those catches. Old Dominion crowds the line of scrimmage. Rakeem Smith comes across the formation from right to left. Now he'll jet back across. Bazelak under center, fakes the handoff to Terrion Stewart, chased out to his right. Connor Bazelak going to throw it on the run, batted down and incomplete.
It was a really great play setup from the first, from the get-go. I mean, it's a good play on that sort of situation. Try to roll out and try to hit one of your tight ends or receivers, but once again, the Monarch defense just swarming around the field, making sure nothing gets past them or in front of them. Just overall good job.
And the punting unit to come out for Bowling Green. John Henderson on for his 4th punt of the night. He's averaging 50.7 yards per punt. Great mark there. And this is that spot right here. We mentioned it earlier and we saw it in the Fordham game. This is the opportunity to run that fake punt. But they don't. Kick is away, end over end, and that one going to sail and be downed inside the 1-yard line. Great job there on the return, on the coverage by Darius Lorfils.
We talked about Lorfils multiple times in this game, had that missed interception, but really great job for him on the special teams to down that ball really close to the end zone and make sure a touchback never occurred.
The referees are discussing down on the goal line to see if it was a touchback. And they're going to say the ball was down at the 1-yard line, and you can't ask for a better setup if you're Bowling Green's defense. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 1-yard line for Old Dominion, and I would not be shocked here, Carter, to see those defensive coordinators, Sammy Lawinson and Steve Morrison, send the house. You've got a quarterback down there who doesn't have a lot of experience. He only threw 2 passes in their last game against Virginia Tech. He's thrown a couple more passes here this week. Very inexperienced. Maybe you try and mess with him. Bill hands it off. No. Joseph will keep it himself. Flips it ahead. Falls incomplete. Flag flies, and I think this is going to be a late hit on Bowling Green. Was trying to dump it out to Bryce Duke. Fell incomplete, and someone came in and completely rocked Colton Joseph after he got rid of it. We'll await to see what the call on the field is. Bowling Green's defense pointing towards Old Dominion.
An interesting thing you talked about in regards to Brain the House. In those situations, you have to, Colton Joseph, not a whole lot of experience, really getting his first reps of the year, so you have to take advantage of those situations if you're the defense, but, always bring that pressure.
Pass interference is the call against Old Dominion. Penalty is going to be declined. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And it would have been a half the distance to the goal penalty, but it was declined. 2nd down and 10 from inside the 1. 2 backs in the backfield. Crowd really getting into it now. Joseph going to hand it off. Going up the middle, picking up a couple yards is Bryce Duke, and that'll give the Monarchs a little bit of breathing room. Pick up a 4 on 2nd down, brings up 3rd and 6. And Old Dominion has been pretty efficient on 3rd down. They're 5 of 12 on 3rd down so far tonight, but they've really been able to pick them up of late.
Now is that time where you have to bring that pressure. This is a
crowd cheering. 4 receivers wide. Duke motions out. Swing pass, bubble screen to Duke, and he dropped it. Hit him right in the hands and fell right out. Ball falls incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down and 6 from the 5-yard line. And there's an injured Monarch offensive lineman on the field.
Looks to be number 64. That would be...
Looks like it's Zach Barlev. With 8:17 on the clock, injured Monarch should send us to a TV timeout, but I don't see the timer out there, so we'll go ahead and keep it here. So it's no question that Old Dominion's about to punt. You're at your own 5-yard line. It's 4th down and 6. It would be silly to go for it unless you really want to catch Bowling Green with their pants down and just go for the fake punt. Why not? But so Bowling Green should be back on offense here following this punt as Zach Barlev is able to get up and walk off. A little bit hobbly, a little bit of support needed. Glad to see he's at least up and moving. So for Bowling Green's offense, what is the plan of attack? Because you haven't been able to move the football really well, especially in the second half, sans that 1 touchdown drive.
You're definitely going to have to make some big adjustments if you're Bowling Green because, whether it's passing or running, they've kind of struggled a little bit, as you mentioned, Reese. So I wonder what Scott Leffler and the offensive coordinators have cooking up down there on the BG sideline, because they're going to have to make a big adjustment fast if they want to take control of this game once again.
Hall punting from the back of his own end zone. Peggy's going to field it at the 50-yard line. He'll return it going right side. Tries to shake a tackler, but hit from behind past the 45-yard line is Justin Peggy's. And the 44-yard line is where Bowling Green's offense will take back over 1st and 10. There's 8:07 left to play here in the 4th quarter. And that missed extra point could come back to be huge. There's still a lot of time on the clock, still over 8 minutes, but a field goal here gives Bowling Green the lead. You make that extra point, the field goal just ties it, but just a 2-point game. 24 is more than 23, if I'm not mistaken.
But do you want to go for the field goal or do you want to go for the dagger? That is the main question as Bowling Green begins their drive.
Stewart gets the handoff going up the middle. Breaks one tackle in the backfield and then finally runs into a crowd of Monarchs. Logging up the middle of that line of scrimmage. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 after the run for no gain.
The energy here at Doyle L. Perry Stadium has definitely risen to an all-time high right now. Once again, homecoming night, the anticipation and energy still at an all-time high.
2nd down and 10, approaching 7.5 to play here in the 4th. Ball at the 44-yard line of Old Dominion. Malcolm Johnson comes in motion, flag will fly. And we'll see what the call is here. Delay a game going to go against Old Dominion. Called against Patrick Smith-Young, and that'll give Bowling Green 5 yards here on 2nd down.
Any positive yardage is always good, no matter what, whether it's just a regular, normal offensive play or a penalty that goes against the defense. Bowling Green has to really take advantage of that if they want to try to win this game. So far, in a great position, great field position.
Terrion Stewart, the setback. About 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage, wanting to give him as much of a full head of steam as they can give him. Old Dominion brings an extra rusher. Terrion Stewart goes up the left side, and he's tackled low past the 40-yard line. They'll give him the 39. They'll call it a loss of 1. They'll say he was down at the 40. So we're under 7 to play here in the 4th. 3rd down and 6. This is right where Bowling Green was on their last drive when they were they didn't attempt a field goal, opted to punt. So now I wonder if this in this opportunity, if you're going to play for 3 from this spot. The wind died down maybe a little bit. So there's 2 backs in the backfield, and Bazelak will throw. Old Dominion bringing pressure. He'll get it away to Harold Fannin on the screen. Harold Fannin breaks one tackle, wrapped up, thrown down forwards. And they'll spot him past the 1st down marker. And a 1st down for Bowling Green up to the 33-yard line. 6:07 to play here in the final quarter of regulation.
And you mentioned the wind, Reese. From our vantage point, looking at the SEBO Athletic Center, we're looking at the goalpost right here. The flag is still moving pretty well, and then we look off to our right side where we see the American flag. It's still flowing as can be, so wind definitely not dying down, but it's not really picking up that much either.
Patterson, the tailback, with a wide open hole up the right side. Tried to go backwards and hit from behind right around the line of scrimmage. Jason Patterson, no gain on the play. Rather a loss of 1. It's so hard to tell from this point of view, especially that far side official where he's at, just with the perspective we're at. 2nd down and 11, 5:22 and ticking left to go here in the 4th. 23-21, Old Dominion leads over Bowling Green. 2 backs in the backfield, that's Patterson and Peggy's. Fannin and Johnson on the far side of the field. And Jamal Johnson will motion over and settle near side. Off defensive line of Old Dominion shuffles. And a pass out into the flat, going to be caught by Peggy's, tackled inbounds. Clock will continue to roll. No gain on the play, at most a loss of 1.
What a great job on the tackle by Denzel Lowry. Textbook tackle, keeping his head up, going forward. You know, especially when you're tackling bigger guys, you want to go for below the waist and hit their legs, because if you go for up top, it's going to lead to a bunch of trouble if you're the defender. So great job by Lowry. hit him where he needs to hit.
Patterson still the back in the backfield, trip split out near side. Fannin lined up in the slot where he's called his home pretty much all day. Rakeem Smith on a screen pass. Smith tries to break a tackle. Someone lost a helmet. That's Harold Fannin. And Rakeem Smith gets back to the original line of scrimmage, so a gain of 1 on the 4th down screen play. And it looks like Jackson Cleathard will try it out to attempt a 50-yard field goal.
Like we've mentioned before, the wind has definitely been a bit up and down. Looking at the flag on the goalpost, it's moving just a tiny bit, but there's still a decent amount of wind gusts. Not too high, but not too low either, so a perfect balance, as one might say.
Cleathard from the left hash. Snap from Carlson back, hold down, kick is up, kick very low, very much off target, and no good from Jackson Cleathard. Second missed field goal of the afternoon.
There's
a flag down. Bowling Green pointing towards Old Dominion, and Old Dominion's body language not signaling what you want to see if you're a fan of the Monarchs. Personal foul going to be called against Old Dominion. That'll give Bowling Green a first down. I believe they called leaping.
Sounded like they did, and for Old Dominion, this puts you in a very, very bad spot. Keeps backing you up into your own corner, just something that the defense did not want to see after you're trying to force them to a field goal. And if that penalty doesn't happen, Bowling Green still misses the kick, and we'd be talking about.
Then Old Dominion, all Old Dominion has to do is run out the clock. But It's 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Terrion Stewart gets the handoff going right side, trying to spin off of tacklers. Finally able to be brought down by 4 or 5 Monarch defenders. Terrion Stewart finally showing off that ability of just being impossible to be brought down as he picks up 5 on first down to the 13-yard line of Old Dominion. That'll bring up 2nd down and 5 as there's under 3.5 to play in the 4th. 2-point ball game. That 15-yard penalty looming large.
Definitely a slow start for Terrion Stewart, but he's really picked it up in the second half and mainly in the 4th quarter here so far.
Stewart now up to 19 carries for 54 yards. He'll get the handoff again, right side wide open over Terrion Stewart. Pushes a man into the Terrion Stewart. Bowling Green leads. Terrion Stewart from 13 yards out in the stiff arm to add the exclamation point on top of that touchdown run.
There's no such thing as speaking too soon up in this booth. We were just talking about how Terrion Stewart has really picked up the production to start the 4th quarter, and that right there, ladies and gentlemen, Stewart, that shows why Terrion Stewart is the rushing leader of this team. Late game heroics from number 4. Awesome job. Great stiff arm from number 4.
4th touchdown of the season for Terrion Stewart. That one coming from 13 yards out with the arm bar to boot, and Bowling Green's going to go for 2. Jamal Johnson lined up in the backfield. Tillman alone near side. High snap. Bezak going to roll out right. Connor Bezak looking in the back of the end zone. That one batted down. Incomplete. 27-23 the score as Old Dominion's going to get the football back following this kickoff from Zach Long. In this Bowling Green defense, they had plenty of time to rest. They had about 5 minutes to catch their breath now as they'll come back onto the field and try and stop Old Dominion from retaking this lead.
Yeah, that whole sequence of events really got started when the whole leaping penalty from Old Dominion came up, so you have to look at it as sort of a big mistake for Old Dominion. Now keep in mind, there's still 3 minutes and 1 second left on the clock, so anything can happen, anything is possible, but you have to really question, in this lane of the game, you can't really make those mistakes. So you have to question on if Old Dominion really shot themselves in the foot big time, as we have mentioned many times in this broadcast.
3:01 remaining in regulation. It's a 4-point ball game following the failed 2-point conversion from Bowling Green. 27-23. They lead over the Monarchs from Old Dominion. Zach Long getting his pre-kick ritual in. Drum roll from the FMB. Long gives it the run up, gives it Das Boot. And that one going to be fielded inside the 5-yard line by Roche. Roche trying to find a lane up the left side, and I think the football might have squeezed out, but I think he was able to get back on top of it. Or at the very least, he was able to maybe retain some of that balance, causing Bowling Green to kind of scramble towards it. Under 3 minutes to play, 2:55 now. Old Dominion to take over from their own 21-yard line.
Now you really have to question, what does Old Dominion do on offense? How do they respond? How do they get back the lead? Because if they score, you're talking about a possible 2 to 3 point lead right here. So interesting to see what Colton Joseph and the Monarchs do right here.
4 receivers wide. Aaron Young in the backfield to the right of Joseph. Bowling Green rushes 4. Young gets the handoff, going left side, pushing past his bodyguards, shedding tackles, picking up the first down, still on his feet, finally brought down past the 35-yard line is Aaron Young. Clock will roll, under 2:45 to play here in the 4th. Charles Rosser in on the tackle. Up to the 36-yard line, 1st and 10, Old Dominion. 4 spread wide. Young will get the rock again, this time going up the middle. Not as much luck this time. He'll get tackled just shy of the 40. Gain of 4 on first brings up 2nd and 6.
And Aaron Young has definitely been the key part of this Monarch offense, just running the ball up the gut and making individuals miss. He's done a really good job so far.
Again, 2 receivers split either side of the formation. Young gets the rock again. No, Joseph pulled it at the last second. He goes down in the backfield. Won't be a sack, but TFLs are just as nice as there's under 2 minutes to play here in the 4th. Timeout going to be taken, it looks like. And it'll be that 2-minute timeout. 27-23, Bowling Green trying to close this one out. Old Dominion with the football. They'll have it 3rd and 7 when we come back here on Falcon Radio.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hi, this is Dave Gosher, radio play-by-play voice of the Boston Bruins, and you're listening to all the high-flying action of Bowling Green Falcon sports on Falcon Radio.
I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but Miss Araceli, she gave me direction.
At age 47, Marco finished his high school diploma.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Coming out of the 2-minute timeout, 1:57 remaining on the game clock here in quarter number 4. Bowling Green with a 4-point lead here over Old Dominion, 27-23. And Old Dominion faced with a 3rd down and 6 from their own 40-yard line. Reese Patricus, Carter Leonard, happy to have you folks along here with us. This game has been all you can dream of it being for homecoming, giving the fans quite the show as the referees will give us a signal to get underway here. 3rd down and 6, and I lied. Timeout going to be taken by Bowling Green.
Yeah, after this timeout, this is probably going to be the biggest 3rd down of the game so far, because 27-23 with a minute 57 left for the Monarchs on the offense here. This is, all bets are off at this point on this current drive, because a lot is definitely on the line. Don't think it's going to be the last play on offense, in my opinion, if they do fail to convert the 1st down, but again, energy is at an all-time high right now.
I think this situation right here, this is absolutely 4-down territory. A touchdown will win it for you. If you don't get it here, you have to go for it, because if you punt it away, you're not going to see the football again. With the way that now Bowling Green has been able to run the ball, they weren't able to do it for the first 2.5 quarters, but in the second half of that 3rd quarter, we started to see it, and especially now in the 4th, we've really started to see the run game finally take off. So you punt this football away, if you don't get it here, you're not seeing the football again if you're Old Dominion. Exactly. 3rd down and 6, crowd on their feet, crowd loud. Buck 57 to play in the 4th. Joseph to throw, looking left side, forced to step up. Airs it way downfield, looking for Vines, overthrows him. Incomplete, that'll bring up 4th and 6. Ja'Cory Benjamin in coverage. Do your little dancey dance, young man.
Great job by Ja'Cory Benjamin on the coverage. Once again, we mentioned it numerous times on how he's, probably one of the best corners on this team, and he's just continued to show out each and every time he steps foot on the field. So great coverage from lucky number 7.
Between Benjamin and Oladokin, a combined 10 years of experience in that Bowling Green secondary, and that was something that we were wondering if they were going to continue to hold on to. You lose Jalen Husky to the transfer portal, who had a fantastic year last year, was your starter for all 13 games, and you bring in Ja'Cory Benjamin from Texas Southern, and he's done a great job. Joseph to throw, off his back foot over the middle. He's got a man. Complete. Pat Conroy, the tight end, coming up big, picking up a 1st down for Old Dominion. Now 1:42 to play in the 4th. Clock will stop for the chains to readjust, and that's a busted coverage there for Bowling Green when you can't afford one on 4th down.
Definitely cannot afford that on 4th down. It's just one of those plays that you have to make. So, new fresh set of downs.
BG rushes for a low snap. Young gets the handoff going right side. Lots of Falcons in the area to bring him down, but he'll still pick up 2. Late shove, it looked like, on the far side. I think we're going to see a timeout down on the field.
How about Pat Conroy so far for the Monarchs? So far, one of the players scored the first 2 touchdowns of the game for Old Dominion. Just been a playmaker all day long, and he was right there on that big 4th down conversion and made a play once again. So good job from number 15, the 6'2", 235. Individual from Reading, Massachusetts. I believe he's a returning senior for the Monarchs, so Conroy, solid game.
The timeout on the field called by Old Dominion. That's their first of this second half. And Pat Conroy, 3 catches, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns with that long of 75. And Old Dominion's second drive of the game way back when in the 1st quarter. 85 seconds on the clock, 4-point ball game. What BG has going for them here is that Old Dominion needs a touchdown.
And the crowd is on their feet as we speak.
Young in the backfield to the left of Joseph. 2 receivers split. Joseph going to pull it going up the middle. He's hit as soon as he breaks past the line of scrimmage, but he'll still fall forward for a gain of about 2, and that'll bring up 3rd down. Up to the 38-yard line is going to be 3rd and about 3. In the hurry up, Young going to get it surging forwards. That last push might have gotten him past the line to gain, and I think that's going to move the sticks for the Monarchs. Clock will stop once more with $1:02 left to play. And in the hurry up still are the Monarchs, trying to keep this BG defense on their toes. Joseph forced to step up, coming in hot. McClendon misses a tackle, finally wrapped up by Darius Lorfills, Joseph Sipp was able to get a hand in there on the ankle, trip up Joseph.
I think one thing you got to point out, especially for Colton Joseph, is the way that he has handled the pressure, going in for Grant Wilson. Kind of a little bit of a shaky start, but he's really set in really well for the Monarchs so far, and he's driving them down the field.
50 seconds on the clock, 2nd down and 6 from the 31-yard line. Getting the play from the near sideline are the Monarchs. Young still in the backfield to the left of Joseph. Bowling Green with 5 defensive backs. Screen pass, Vines, pushed out of bounds. Right near the sticks.
Looks like they're going to give him the first down right here.
I don't think they will. I think they're going to say he's about a half-yard shy. The stadium bell's playing, and that's going to force a 3rd down in inches.
It was definitely close from our perspective, Reese. And when you're down on the field, you feel like you got it, but just, you know.
I think they're going to go ahead and measure the spot.
Had to have been really, really close.
It is extremely close. He needs the 25-yard line. They have them spotted on the 25-yard line on the board. But that football, I mean, that nose might be kissing the 25-yard line, but it's so hard to tell from up here. And it looks like the chains are going to move, so they give Old Dominion the first down. They have it 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. There's 45 seconds left in this one, the biggest 45 seconds of the season thus far for Bowling Green.
A lot on the line. All bets are off, ladies and gentlemen.
27-23, Falcons lead, trying to keep Old Dominion out of the end zone. Play action. Joseph looking near side, broken up. Ja'Cory Benjamin again in coverage. He's feeling himself, and that's what Bowling Green needs. Clock stops with 41 seconds.
It looked like Deontay Vines was already had a foot out of bounds, so had he caught that ball, it probably wouldn't even mattered to begin with. But great job by Benjamin once again.
Now 2nd down and 10. Young has not left the left hip of Colton Joseph this drive. Crowd clapping, trying to disrupt. Joseph forced out left. Got a lot of room in front of him. Colton Joseph past the first down marker, still on his feet, down inside the 5-yard line. 31 seconds on the clock. Clock will stop for the chains to readjust, or rather they won't, down at the 3-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. Handoff Young, surging forward, in for the touchdown. Monarchs retake the lead. 29-27, Monarchs on top here with 24 seconds remaining. Interesting decision here, the extra point unit on. In this instance, I guess maybe not too confusing. If you go for 2, right, they're still in that swinging door formation, so anything is possible. Okay, now they'll move into that extra point formation. You go for 2 and get it, and a field goal does absolutely nothing for Bowling Green. But then again, if you miss it, a field goal wins it. This here, you make it, and a field goal ties the game, and that will stand true. 30-27 with 24 seconds remaining here at the Doit. What a game here that fans are being treated to for homecoming.
Yeah, definitely. You know, whoever wins or loses, this game will be remembered for quite some time, you know, because, you know, obviously every Saturday afternoon, morning, afternoon to midnight, you always look forward to the big games, but these smaller schools always pack a punch with their games as well. And this game between the Falcons and the Monarchs have been absolutely no different. You know, just head-to-head matchup going back and forth with each other. It's definitely been fun to watch, Reese.
And right now it all comes back to that interception that Connor Bazelak threw in the 3rd quarter. Old Dominion scored off of that. They were set up beautifully at the 21-yard line of Bowling Green. They were able to score off of that. And now if you don't have that turnover, we're looking at a completely different game. Bowling Green dominating the time of possession, 37-52 to 21-44, outgaining Old Dominion 382 to 333. And we've got a pause. I believe the ball fell off the tee.
Yeah, now if I'm head coach Scott Loeffler, I wouldn't want to try to sit back and worry about, you know, obviously what happened, but there's nothing that you could do about it in an instance. You can't really spend time during the game focusing on the what-ifs. You just have to worry about what's in front of you.
Chang gives it the boot. That one will be fielded in the end zone. Peggy's will bring it out. Peggy's up the middle, tripped up past the 20-yard line. Justin Peggy's thought he could maybe get some space, but tripped up, and a little bit of extracurricular activity following the tackle. No flags fly. Bowling Green will take over at their own 26-yard line.
As we mentioned, it's getting chippy out there in the late stages of the game. All bets are off. Kind of wonder if you think the rest will just let them play it out, but it's not always the case.
Rather, they'll move them back to the 23, first down and 10. That kick return took 5 seconds off the clock, so BG only with 19 seconds to work with as they trail by 3. 30-27 here in the remaining seconds of the fourth quarter. Bazelak steps up, fires. Finn Hogan's got it, brought down in bounds, and they're going to have to burn their final timeout to stop the clock. Great heads-up play there by the defensive back to bring down Finn Hogan in bounds before he could step out on his own. 8 seconds come off the clock on first down.
Yeah, that's just great awareness from the defense right there, just making sure, you know, what's around you. You have the lead, you have a 3-point lead, but you also have to worry about the time as well, because you don't want to give, if you're the Monarchs, you don't want to give Bowling Green too much time to get down the field and try to make something happen, whether that's score a touchdown, win the game, or kick a field goal and tie the game and send it into overtime.
Gain of 8 on first down brings up 2nd and 2. There's 11 seconds on the clock now from the 31-yard line. Bowling Green has to take a shot down the field here, and I imagine Old Dominion is going to bring some heat, so they can't allow that to happen. Or at the very least, maybe they'll split it, drop 6 back, rush 5. But in that instance, you risk leaving the middle of the field wide open for an easy crosser to pick up a couple yards. But we'll see what happens here. It's going to be 2nd down and 2. 11 ticks remaining here in regulation. 3-point ball game. Old Dominion trying to come away and spoil Bowling Green's homecoming. Two backs either side of Bazelak in the backfield. 3 receivers wide, high snap. Bazelak drops, steps up in the pocket. Pressure from behind, gets it off Malcolm Johnson Jr., but he's brought down in the middle of the field. I'm not sure what we're thinking here. Picks up the first down. Bowling Green's got to hurry up and clock it. There's 3 seconds on the clock. Float pass to Harold Fannin Jr. Bowling Green going to need to do something spectacular. Lateral pass to Nate Pabst. Pabst now laterals it back. That's Jamal Johnson. Ball on the ground. Hogan picks it up. Hook and ladder time. Back to Harold Fannin Jr. Laterals it. Malcolm Johnson Jr. Back to Fannin. That one might have gone forwards. Back to Bazelak now. This is getting fun. And now the ball on the turf. Old Dominion going to fall on it. They're going to walk out of Bowling Green with a 30-27 victory. Flags fly. They're saying the game isn't over yet.
A little bit of miscommunication downfield. We're all over the place, as we should say, as a wild scene has occurred here at Doyle Perry Stadium.
And that'll be the end of the game. There was a penalty thrown against Malcolm Johnson, and homecoming spoiled. Old Dominion walks out of Doyle Perry Stadium with a 3-point victory, 30-27 the final. We're going to go ahead and step aside, talk things over. We'll be back with the Falcon Media Sports Network post-game show. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future in a world that's changing fast. Do play and laugh. Do win and lose. Do it all with confidence, kindness, and strength. And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life, what matters to me is that you keep doing. Inspire kids to do at 4h.org.
Trace Terry is the junior forward on the BGSU men's soccer team, and he is this week's Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week. After a 2-goal game in Bowling Green's 2-1 road win over Bradley on Friday night, Terry was awarded his first career Missouri Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Week award. The junior striker followed up his 2-goal performance against Bradley with another 2 goals against Eastern Illinois on Tuesday night in their 5-0 win at the Rossford Dome. Terry is second in the Missouri Valley Conference with 8 goals on the year, joining Bennett Painter as one of 2 Falcons in the top 3. The Bellbrook, Ohio native has 14 goals and 7 assists already in his career as a Falcon, totaling 35 career points. This has been Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
The BGSU alma mater echoes through the emptying Deutsch Perry Stadium in more of a melancholy tone as opposed to the usual upbeat tone that we're so used to seeing after finals here at Deutsch Perry Stadium. 30-27 the final score. Old Dominion picking up their first win of the 2024 campaign here on the road in Bowling Green, Ohio. Reese Patricus, Carter Leonard, happy to have you folks along for us here. It was a wild ride, Carter. It was back and forth for the entire first half, and even more in the second half. A lot of push and pull from both sides. We'll go ahead and walk you through how it happened. In the first quarter, Old Dominion kind of jumped out to that big lead there. It was 7-0. Then it was tied at 7, 14-7. Then Bowling Green pushed ahead a little bit. And then Old Dominion came back, takes us into halftime, and just more of that back and forth push and pull. Bowling Green led at a point, and then that big interception from Connor Bazelak proved to be the difference. Threw it right into the hands of Patrick Smith-Young, Jerron Manning, and he brought it all the way back to the 21-yard line, able to score easily the Old Dominion offense off of that, and that really proving to be the difference between a win and a loss here.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to that interception that Bazelak threw to Jerron Manning, BG had had a lot of momentum at the start of the second half, going out and scoring, getting points, and they just didn't really, from our vantage point, they didn't really sustain that momentum the way they needed to, and that's really what changed the whole complexity of the game. And despite the Monarchs' struggles that they've had, because both sides really had their struggles, the Monarchs were able to prevail at the right exact time, and just as the lights go out right now,
preparing for that fireworks show, which just doesn't feel right after a loss like this. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Carter.
No, absolutely. And going on the Bowling Green side of things, not just the second half, but the whole game, it just felt like that there were some opportunities that they really, really should have capitalized on, and they just missed, and that's what really basically sealed the deal for Old Dominion. And Old Dominion, they're going to walk out with their first win of the year, and Bowling Green, they'll walk out with their 3rd straight loss.
Falling to 1-3, Bowling Green. The defense, usually the mainstay of this team, faltering late, allowing that late touchdown drive with under 2 minutes to play to give Old Dominion their 30-27 victory. Now we'll go ahead and transition into the Falcon Media Sports Network Player of the Game. Carter, why don't you go ahead and take us away?
Yeah, definitely. From Old Dominion, we have to go with tight end Pat Conroy. I mean, what a game that Conroy really had. 3 receptions for 99 receiving yards, averaging 33 receiving yards per reception. Scored the first 2 touchdowns of the game for Old Dominion, which set them up very, very nicely. And he had a long 75-yard reception. So Pat Conroy, an individual that we haven't really talked about a lot in regards to Old Dominion before this game, but he really showed out today, and he is our player of the game.
One final time here from the Deutsch L. Perry Stadium, 30-27. Final score, Old Dominion picking up their first win of the season. They move to 1-3. Bowling Green dropping their 3rd straight contest. They fall to 1-3 on the 2024 season. Next up for Bowling Green, they're on the road. They're out 2.5 hours east at Akron at Infocision Stadium. Opening conference play, and we should have a broadcast for you there. I believe it is going to be Caden Knapp and Holden Ruck on the call for that one. I just want to give a couple quick shout-outs here. First off, I want to shout out my partner here, Carter Leonard. Did a great job for your very first football game on color commentary. I also want to shout out our board op back in the Cooling Center studios, Nate Hinners, pushing all the buttons, making sure that we sound nice and pretty for you folks sitting back at home. And another final, the biggest shout-out probably, to our sports content director, Lucas Kleinmeyer, giving us the opportunity to call this game for you folks here. That's going to do it for us from the Deutsch. For the last time, I promise, 30-27 the final. Old Dominion spoiling Bowling Green's homecoming. Have a great night, folks.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.